So hello guys, welcome to my new YouTube channel Manhwa Summers, and I've brought a manhwa for you all. At the start of the episode, we are shown a guy who's running inside, drenched in rain. He's just running and running. Now I don't know where he's going, obviously he's going home. Anyway, he reaches his home and while climbing the stairs, he starts feeling suspicious. Now I don't know what kind of suspicion, but anyway, we're shown with full focus that his foot is wet and all, like how it's shown in anime. As soon as he enters, he starts yelling. Now why is he yelling? I don't know what he saw. He sees a girl, and she's sitting with a sword. He's totally shocked seeing her, and the girl looks really good too. But he wonders how this girl even got here, to his house. He yells, "Who the heck is this?" He gets really scared. Who is this girl? Then he sees a key near her foot, or maybe near his own foot, I'm not sure. Anyway, the girl goes into a corner and he says, "Who is this girl?" Then he says, "She really scared me." The girl goes, okay, but doesn't really say anything. He starts staring at her and thinking, how did she even get here? Is she my neighbor? He keeps thinking and says, this girl is pretty. He looks at her sword and says, she's really pointing the sword like seriously. Then he notices her sandals and starts walking away. The girl says, hey stop. He goes, okay, this house is mine, not yours. Then he starts thinking, do I really look that bad that she doesn't like me? He feels like maybe he made her upset. But wait a second, why is she staring at me like that? Do I really look like a cow or something? But I'm a good guy. He keeps mumbling to himself and peeks through the half-closed door to see if she's still standing there. And from the side of the door, she's still visible. Then he closes the door completely. I mean, look at this guy, he just shut the door. Alright then, he takes off his slippers and starts drinking. Drinking like a cold drink or something, not beer. And then he starts calling his melon. Melon is his cat. He gives her food and starts thinking. His cat is this chubby, cute little thing. So he gets a cold drink and just sits there, thinking about what's going on. And what's up with that sword anyway? It's not even the age of swords anymore. He's thinking all this and then wonders, wait, my work's done, but is that girl still there? He starts imagining all kinds of things. Then he decides to go and check. He walks to the door and looks, is anyone here? No one's visible. He wonders where she went. Through the peephole, he checks and then opens the door. He thinks she must have left. But then boom, the girl is standing right in front of his face and says, to hell with you. He says, whoa, what are you looking at? She says, I think. Do you want to come into my house? He starts mumbling to himself again and says, okay fine, if you want to come in, you can. You also look hungry. She says, what is this place? He says, this is just a neighborhood road. She replies, what kind of road is that? She then asks, who are you? Like, who are you even? He says, whoa, call me, she says, you can call me Leafing. Then she says, you want an umbrella? You can take one, I'll give you. She looks at him like, what's with this guy? He's thinking, who is this girl? She says, I'm a disciple of Salt. He says, Salt? Is she sick or something? Then he says, forget it, I think I should take her to my room. He starts to leave, says he'll call security, and says, you can come too, it's very cold outside. While he's talking on the phone, his TV turns on. From outside, he hears a voice. It says little, and then he looks. The TV turns on, and on the screen they're saying, do you want a job? There's all this noise on the TV. The girl sees the TV and stabs it with her sword. Can you believe that? She actually stabs the sword into the TV. This girl is super old, like from way in the past. While he's talking on the phone, he says, I just heard a loud noise. Did something happen? He goes, no, nothing happened, but in reality, a lot happened. Then he apologizes, sorry to bother you. Now he sees that she stabbed the sword into the TV. He says, what is this? Isn't this a dangerous place? He says, what are you even doing? I'm a good guy. She says, so many people, where did they go? Where did they come from? She's thinking, where did these people even come from and where did they go? He thinks, maybe she's from a tribe or something backward like that. He says, first, please put down your sword. I'm a good guy, alright? I even offered you an umbrella. She looks at him and puts her sword away. He says, okay, what's your name? She replies, my name is Chief Man and I'm a member of the Salt Gang. He says, Salt Gang? What kind of gang is that? Where is it from? She says, you've never heard of the Salt Gang? She's getting angry. He says, I've never heard of it. What do you want? He stares at her from head to toe. She's wearing sandals. He says, whoa, okay, I'm not a bad person. She says, I want to go home. He says, okay. The girl asks, where is this place? He says, this is 𝙒𝙤𝙛𝙚 City. 𝙒𝙤𝙛𝙚 City. Now he's confused. What's going on here? I should tell her the emperor's name. He says, Hey Majesty, something like that. He says, who is Hey Majesty? Then he says, oh yeah, that's him. What kind of question am I asking? Then he asks, which year is this, by the way? Like, what kind of question is that? Then he says, okay, wait, give me a second. He starts searching on the internet on his phone to find out what year it is. I don't know what language he searches in. Then he says some name, Tan something, I don't know what he says. She says, yeah, that one. Do you know him? Where is he? Now she seems happy. The guy says, dude, that's in the past, in the books or something, I don't know. Then suddenly, the food delivery guy arrives. She's about to stab him with the sword, and the guy says, stop. He's just delivering food. He shouts, stop. He's not a bad guy. He came to give me food. Alright? Stop. You get angry too quickly. The girl says, oh, he's a servant? The guy replies, no, he's not a servant. He's just the food delivery guy. Then he says, okay, here you go. He says, you must be hungry. The girl says, no, I don't want food, but thanks for asking. The guy says, okay, no problem, I'm going to eat now. Just then, the girl asks, why do you all have short hair? The boy says, no, wait a minute, what do you all mean? The girl says, when I came, many of the guys had already cut their hair short. I came an hour earlier. Now the boy starts imagining, that means she must have fought off so many guys an hour ago. Then the boy asks, okay, but no one saw you, right? The girl says, no one saw me because I was in a dark place. The boy says, okay, good. The girl says, you still haven't answered my question. The boy says, how do I even tell you? He's thinking that. Meanwhile, the girl starts looking at his food and says, hey, what's this? The boy asks, do you want some? The girl says, no, I don't want it, but she keeps staring at the food. It seems weird to her, but also delicious, yet for some reason she doesn't eat it. I didn't understand why either. Anyway, the boy says, you're not going to eat this, to which the girl refuses. Then the boy says, okay, fine, at least you can have a drink, right? Won't you even have a drink? Now the girl says, do you want to kill me? Now I don't know why she said that. She pulls out her sword again. The boy says, what do you even want? Why do you get violent about everything? What do you want? This is a burger. The girl says, you didn't even tell me what it is to eat. The boy says, this is a hamburger. It's something people eat. Now she spills his drink on the floor. The boy says, what do you want? This isn't poison, okay? It's just a drink. The girl stands there with her sword drawn, and the guy, holding the drink, says, do you want to drink it? Do you even know how to drink? He's joking with her, just having fun with the situation, because honestly, no one could believe that a 1,200-year-old girl suddenly appeared in this era. Anyway, I don't know what thought this is based on, or what kind of idea they had while making this. The boy says, you don't have to scare me with your sword. I'm a good guy, okay? Got it? I'm a pretty good guy. Now he's praising himself. Then he says, you even scared Wintern. Now she says, Wintern? The boy starts thinking how hard it is to deal with this rude girl. Then he starts guessing that he has 3 options. First, just mind his own business, trick her out somehow, and a few days later news will come that someone dealt with her. The second option is to hand her over to the police, become the police's dog and say, she's a 1,200-year-old girl, etc. And he starts imagining the benefits he'd get, like this and that, just lost in his daydreams. Then he thinks, what if this girl becomes dangerous? Now he's blushing just thinking about it, covering his mouth with his hand. Then he thinks the third option is to just observe her for a while, and as soon as she becomes normal, then he'll think again. He's thinking, an ancient girl is now in his house. He's confused himself, how is this even possible? Then he walks off with determination and says, all right, fine. Then asks, do you want to eat this? Showing her something. And showing her the hot dog, like showing it towards the girl, and the girl refuses. Even though she's hungry, she still says no. Then he shows her something else. I don't know what these rolls or whatever are. The boy says, do you want to eat this? The girl says, yes, I do want to eat, but he takes 3 big bites. 1, 2, 3, and it's finished. And the girl just keeps staring. She must be thinking how rude he is. And the boy says, I'm guessing your body probably can't handle this kind of food. Why are you standing so far? You can come sit here too, you know? He says, you don't have to scare me with your sword. I'm a pretty nice guy. Now the girl says, I do want to sit, and she actually sits down. And the boy is just wondering what she really wants. Then the girl says, after all, this guy gave me an umbrella. Meaning, maybe this guy is okay. Then the girl thinks, this room is so weird. I can't even understand it. What is this guy even eating? He has a pet cat, he's doing this and that. Then she thinks, I'll have to be cautious around him. She asks, what place is this? The boy says, Qing City. Now the girl says, you have to explain to me where that is and where I am. Then again, she grabs her sword. The boy says, Yar, again with a sword? You need to keep your sword a little farther away, okay? You don't have to pick it up every time something happens. Then the girl says, I want to go home. She becomes sad. The boy starts looking at her, not sure how. Then he says, you can't go. We're too far from your place. She asks, how far? Now he starts explaining. Do you even know? We're 1,200 years away. We've come 1,200 years forward. The girl says, what do you mean? Now the guy starts explaining generation by generation, like, your ancestors, their ancestors. And honestly, I can't explain all this. It's too much trouble. Then the girl just stands there silently and says, what did you just say? The boy says, you might think I'm lying, but you'll find out slowly. By the way, doesn't anything here feel familiar to you? He says, I don't lie, okay? The girl says, you're lying. Now he says, you're a smart person. You can figure it out yourself. You must have your own judgment. He keeps repeating that he doesn't lie. The girl says, I don't believe you. And the boy says, 1 minute. Then again she sits down with her sword. I don't know, man. Why is she always sitting with her sword? Then the boy says, I already told you, you need to understand this world first. Put your sword down. Then the girl says, why do you even want to help me? Now the boy says, when I saw this winter, this cat, outside, I brought her in. Look at this fat cat. Now she says, fat cat? Do you want to bring me to my knees? Now the boy says, no, I don't want that. Then the girl starts thinking, he's just like normal people. Like an ordinary person who comes home and goes about his day. Anyway, then she asks, why do you want to help me? He says, to be honest, I'm just a little curious to know more about you. He starts imagining things again. And just then, the laddu seller's house comes into view. He's still lost in his fantasies. Then the girl says, you're going to die. She says that and the guy's face goes pale. He says, why do you want to kill us? We're peace lovers, okay? We're peace lovers. You can't go around killing everyone. I don't know how you even got here, and besides, you can't leave either. You'll have to slowly understand things. You can't just go around destroying everything. Anyway, the guy is thinking, is this a dream? I don't know. He's confused and looks at his sword and thinks, maybe it's a dream. And thinks about showing it to someone from the past or something. Then the girl comes out wearing the red t-shirt. Brother, she's looking really cute. Whoever designed this did a great job. Anyway, he's writing something, and the girl comes closer and asks, what are you writing? Now the boy says, oh, do you know? And the girl starts looking at it, and brother, she's looking too cute. Now the boy asks, can you read what I've written? She looks at it and says, no, I can't read it. It's very strange. And she says, this cloth is also very strange. Like so loose and big. And the boy says, hey, these are girls' clothes only. He gets shy and says, it's pretty good, you're looking really beautiful. The girl says, don't flirt, and he gets shy. Then he looks at her shoes, her slippers, that she's wearing, and they're really dangerous, brother. Made of wood. And the boy says, so cute. He says, my shoes are on the side, you can wear them. Just then she gets scared because someone is at the door. The boy says, hey, that's the food delivery guy, okay? Don't get scared like this. And he looks at her like a cat and says, this girl is crazy. Then the girl says, if a person wants to do something to you, they're definitely a thief. She says that to the guy but then says, but you're a really good person. Now the boy gets shy, he starts blushing. Brother, someone say this to me too, that I'm a good guy. Anyway, all that keeps happening. Then the boy says, "Did you manage your food?" The girl says, "Yeah, I think I did, yes." Then the boy says, "Oh, let's talk. You've come 1,200 years from the past, what's all this about?" He says, "It might be hard for you to accept, but okay. First of all, don't hurt anyone. Inside this house, no one can hurt you." Then he drifts off into a fantasy, saying, "Even if you kill me, you'll be safe for 7 days. After that, you won't be safe, okay?" Then he goes near the TV and says, "Look, this is a TV, okay? It creates sound and it's good for entertainment. It doesn't harm us." Then pointing at the phone, he says, "Look, this is a phone. We feel relaxed using it, okay? None of these things harm us and all of them are completely safe. Do you understand? I won't hurt you, okay?" Now after saying this, the girl starts looking at him and he says, "All of this is peaceful, but only until you're inside the house. As soon as you go outside, it might get complicated. But as long as you're inside, you're completely safe and you don't even need your sword, okay?" The girl says, "But why? Why am I not safe outside?" Then the boy says, "You're not safe outside because if you do anything troublesome, you'll be punished, okay?" Then he gets lost in his thoughts again. Then he shows her his ID card and says, "Look, I got this when I was born," and starts bragging about it, etc. And says, "If you get into trouble, do this, do that," basically shows a lot of rules of this world, about people, etc. Anyway, we won't discuss that now. He says, "Oh, I get it. Am I a refugee?" She's talking about jail, asking if she'll be jailed or something. The boy says, No, if you end up in jail, that means you're their servant, okay? You'll be their servant and that's really dangerous. For this world." Now she starts looking at him like, "What's up with this world?" Anyway, she doesn't understand much. Then he says, "Oh, I forgot, I'm with a girl." Then she starts asking, "How do I trust you? I need to go home. I don't want to trust you." Then the boy says, "That's up to you, whether you trust me or not. Anyway, it's all on you. If you cooperate, I'll be able to help you. Otherwise, I won't be able to help." He says it clearly in straight words. Now the girl starts looking at him again. "Brother, she's looking so cute." Anyway, the boy says, "First of all, you look really scary with that sword, so don't use it, okay?" Now she looks away and then back again. Then he says, "Do you have any other questions? If you have more questions, you can ask." Then the girl suddenly asks, "Where's your wife?" The boy says, "I'm completely single. I've been single for 20 years. I'm unmarried." The girl says, "Oh, you're unmarried?" Now the boy gets surprised and starts thinking, "What a fool I am. How can a boy and a girl stay alone together?" Then he puts his hand on his mouth, like covering his face, and starts thinking. Then he says, "Okay, I've got an idea." And he starts running, saying, "Follow me." He goes to the storeroom and says, "All the stuff I have, I store it in this storeroom. Though it's a bit dirty, I'll clean it up. This is the storeroom pick, kind of small, whatever it is." Anyway, he starts cleaning it, moving stuff around and placing it properly and says, "No worries, you can stay in the storeroom. These clothes are clean. The bed is clean, washed and neat, okay? Take it and sleep. And I believe you're confused right now, but once morning comes, everything will be fine." Now he thinks that maybe my dream, my illusion will also be fine, maybe it's possible. Then he says, "Anyway, no worries, bye. My name is 𝙒𝙤𝙤𝙀, he says. "Alright, good night, bye-bye, tada." And the girl starts watching him and is about to think something when he closes the door and leaves. Then the girl picks up the sword, sits on her bed, and just goes to sleep. Do you all also want to sleep? Then go to sleep, brothers. Good night. Anyway, now we're shown a night scene and the boy is thinking. He also goes to sleep and he's thinking, what is this scene, man? I don't understand. How did a 1,200-year-old girl end up with me? Now he's confused and thinking all this. He thinks, never mind, it'll be morning soon, and I'll be fine. I mean, this illusion of mine will also fade away. He says, maybe I'm dreaming or something. I don't know, man, what this is. Anyway, he's lost in his thoughts and wondering how he could have met an ancient girl. He starts getting a headache too. He holds his head and goes to sleep. Says, forget it, no worries. We'll see tomorrow. And then he falls asleep. Then we're shown a morning scene where he opens his eyes and wakes up. Okay, he opens his eyes slowly and after opening his eyes, he picks up the phone and sees the time. It's already 10 o'clock. Oh my god, it's already late. How did it get to be 10? His eyes widen. He says, "By the way, what happened yesterday? Wait a second, is that girl still here?" Now he gets off the bed and runs straight to check, and as soon as he rushes there, he sees the girl sitting right there. Now he's shocked, now he's happy. Wow, what happened yesterday was totally real. It was reality. Ahaha. Now the girl starts looking at him. She says, "𝙒𝙤𝙤𝙤." Now she shouts towards him, and the guy becomes even happier. Wow, this isn't a dream. It's real. Then he coughs and comes closer. Says, "You woke up so early." The girl says, "It's already noon, you're very late." He says, Okay, are you hungry?" She says, "Yeah, I'm a little hungry." Then she says, "Wait a second," and asks the boy to wait for a bit. She goes inside, so fast that the guy doesn't even notice. She goes that fast and comes back just as quickly. The boy is shocked. Now she gives something to him and says, "Here, take this from me. Just don't complain, okay?" She gives it to him. He says, "Oh, is this gold? Is it silver?" The girl says, "Yeah, I want to give you this in exchange for staying at your house." And she tries to take off her locket to give him. The boy says, Stop, wait. Don't give me all these things, okay? I haven't even gotten you home properly yet, so there's no need for this." And he says, "Anyway, I have to bring lots of stuff for you, daily use stuff, your clothes, etc. Then he says he's going to buy it. He quickly brushes his teeth, looks at his face in the mirror, does some grooming, fully gets ready. Then he says, "Let me quickly go and get clothes for her, this and that." He washes his face, doesn't bathe though. Anyway, washes face and comes to the clothing shop. He says, "Give me this, give me that, etc. He comes to purchase dresses. After 1 hour, tired, he comes out and says, "Man, I'm exhausted." And it really looks like he's tired from his face. Because look, he's carrying so much stuff in his hands. And man, who writes ABC on the packages? Anyway, maybe she doesn't know ABCD. Anyway, this guy is like, "Okay, time to make the payment." And the payment turns out to be 200 yuan total, for all the stuff. Anyway, he's thinking, let's just hope it's useful. I should go home now before it all goes to waste. Then we're shown his building, his home. On the way, he meets the security guard again. The guard asks, "𝙒𝙤𝙤𝙤, did you go shopping?" He hides all the bags behind him. He says, Yeah, I went shopping." The guard says, "You made a call?" The boy says, "Yeah, it was accidental, but it's okay." Then the guard says, "Did you eat?" He says, "Yeah." Then the guard says, "Keep your windows and doors locked. A strange woman has been roaming around." The boy says, "Oh yeah, I'll remember." Anyway, he comes home and sees the girl standing there with a sword. He says, "Hey, I told you already, don't react like this." Then he says, "I brought some stuff for you, check it out." He says, "Let's eat first." He asks, "Won't you say anything?" The girl says, "What?" The boy says, "Don't you think I'm a good person? Or a young warrior or something? Or thank you?" He says, "Don't I look like a young warrior to you?" The girl says, "What kind of behavior is this?" She says, "Yeah, thank you, but young warrior?" And this guy gets irritated in his own mind. What kind of human is she even? Anyway, food talk is going on. He says, "Let's eat." And the girl is eating very fast. Obviously, she's been hungry since yesterday. And he starts looking at her lovingly, like really lovingly. Anyway, they are eating and drinking. "You guys eat too, brothers, what are you doing?" Anyway, he says, "I brought some clothes for you. I don't know if they'll be comfortable for you, but I brought them according to your size, height, etc." And he says, "Here, take this dress too. Wear it if you want. It's your favorite dress." The girl says, "Yeah, okay, but what is this? I don't know how to wear it." The boy says, "You don't know how to wear it? What kind of girl are you? What kind of woman are you?" Then he says, "Okay, fine, I'll show you a video. Watch that and learn. Here, take this, it's all girl stuff. I don't need it. Learn at your pace." And he hands it to her, blushing. The girl looks at it. Anyway, he thinks, maybe I should teach her computer skills. Then he sees she's feeling very tired. Then he asks, "Didn't you sleep last night? Or do you want to say something?" The girl asks, "What is your world status?" Now this sudden question. The guy says, "Well, I'm a graduate but unemployed. So yeah, I've given exams but don't have a job." Now the girl thinks in her mind, is this guy rich? He says, No, nothing like that. Then she thinks, maybe he's a landlord's son. Then she starts reading the book again, looking at pictures and stuff, historical ones. Then she starts crying and thinks, how can I go back? How can I return? Then the boy says, I don't know, but yeah, it might be hard to go back. Then the girl says, I remember last night I was chasing a thief and it was raining a lot. Then I saw a big house. And the guy says, there's no jungle or anything around here. Anyway, he says, forget about leaving, first learn to live here. She says, I have more questions. She asks, what is your military ranking? He says, military ranking? I don't really know. Why, do you know how to fly or something? The girl says, yeah, I can jump till there. The guy says, till where? The girl says, till the 4th floor. The guy is shocked. You can jump up to the 4th floor? He says, so you know dragon palm and stuff? She says, what is that? He says, look, I can teach you. Can I learn? She says, well, you're already kind of old, but still, I don't know if you'll achieve it. The boy says, oh, no worries, I'll achieve it. I'm already very talented. Starts praising himself. Now the girl says, okay, let's do this. She shows him some practice moves, says, I practiced martial arts like this. So this is waist, and this is hip, etc., shows that type of stance. The boy says, wait, can't you stop all this? Please. The girl says, how will you learn without practice? The boy starts folding his hands and says, well, how long will I have to practice? The girl says, I think for 3 years. The boy thinks to himself, man, if I practice for 3 years, I'll join the army. He gets excited and says, can I learn sword fighting? The girl says, forget it. You're also a fancy person. Your hands and eyes are not steady. The boy thinks, what kind of girl is this? She's totally roasting me. Then he says, okay, you go and change your dress. The girl says, all right. Now the boy says, this is the right moment, brother. I mean, look at her eyes, they're too dangerous. But instead of going toward the girl, he moves toward the sword. He picks up the sword and says, now I'll definitely learn sword fighting, etc., and starts practicing. What you all are seeing isn't reality, it's his imagination. He says, this is too heavy. I can't handle it. Then the girl comes back and says, I've changed. Now we're shown how pretty she looks. Man, if only I had a girlfriend like that, it would be amazing. She says, I tried it, it's really nice and fits perfectly. She turns her head and her hair flies around. The boy says, oh man, what are you looking around for? Then he says, I forgot to bring your hairband. The girl says, oh, the hairband? Here you go, and hands it to him herself, saying, this is the one you were talking about, right? Now look at how cute she looks. The boy thinks, how can girls be so smart and intelligent? Even though she's from 1200 years ago, she's still so smart. That's all he says, and then the environment is shown. It's evening now. The girl is shocked in disbelief and says, what is this? The boy asks, is this real? The girl says, yes, it's real. She asks, is this the power of people from your world? The boy says, yes, this is their power. Then he says, no, this is all fake, like in the film industry. The girl asks, so what do you mean? Is all this real or fake? The boy says, no. Yes. The girl asks, so is this fake or real? The boy says, the martial art is real, I mean fake, and the rest I said is real. Basically, all this is just girly stuff like clothing videos and all that, which he is showing her. The boy asks, are you understanding this? The girl says, yes, I understand. The boy blushes and thinks, what kind of girl is she? Then he asks, did your leader or gang members also move like this? The girl says, yes, they used to move kind of like this too. Now the boy asks, were they all Superman? The girl says, yes, they were all Superman, but they focused on their strength, etc. She says, I don't know what kind of things these are. It looks like technique but feels kind of impossible. The boy agrees, yeah, I feel the same. Suddenly, a light bulb goes off in his head. He starts imagining again. He thinks, moving your hands really fast looks so cool, like making them look blurry. He keeps thinking. The girl asks, what? Then she thinks, let me try and show him. The boy says, all right, show me. The girl stands up, and we're shown that she does the same hand and foot movements. The boy is shocked and says, whoa, how did you do that? The girl says, like that one. He says, yes, exactly like that. The girl says, Just tell me when you want to learn, I'll teach you. Don't worry. I'll teach you the whole method. The boy claps and gets happy. As the girl walks ahead, he gets even more excited and happy, thinking, now I'll learn too, etc. Suddenly the girl finds a ball and asks, what is this thing? We see that it's a cat playing with the ball. The cat comes meowing and stands in front of her. The girl closes the door and starts thinking, what kind of world is this? It feels very strange. She feels this world is very scary, very dangerous, because of the kind of techniques she's seeing. She keeps thinking, this is very suspicious, but it's okay. She grabs her sword tightly and starts practicing her sword fighting. Man, even I deserve a girlfriend like this. Meanwhile, the boy is studying on the computer, watching UFOs and stuff. He says, alright, it's time to sleep now, and thinks to himself, it's incredible that in the other room of my house, there's a girl, such a beautiful one. Thinking all this, he falls asleep. He wonders, what must this girl be doing now, and falls asleep thinking that. Next, we're shown the morning. It's morning now. He says, what time is it? He sees that it's almost 7 o'clock. He says, oh man, I overslept. Then he opens the door and enters the main building. He enters the room and thinks, let's take her out for a walk now. Then he was saying, use your eyes and ears, don't use your mouth at all, okay? And anyway, everything is safe outside, there's no need to be scared. Okay, got it, the girl said. He said, yeah, okay, and then he started taking her photo, such a cute one. And man, she looks so cute in the picture. Mine never turn out like that, but anyway, no worries. She asked, what happened? He replied, nothing. Now give me a nice smile. She gave such a scary smile. He said, scary? Okay, no problem. Just don't smile like that in front of others, or they'll go crazy out of fear. Then he said, everything outside is safe, so throw down your sword. She replied, sword down? He said, oh come on, everyone's like me out here, completely weak. You can knock them out with just one punch. She asked, just one punch? Then he took her photo again from the side this time, and even from the side she looked cute. What can I even say? He said, come on, stay behind me, alright? She looked around, and then they showed us how they were stepping out of the house, and he was still explaining things like to a child. He said, look, this is the micro-district. People live here and so on. Then he said, look, this is the road entrance. A scooter was coming and the girl panicked. He said, relax. Then he started thinking, if I wasn't here, what would have happened to her? Right then they ran into the same guard and that auntie. The auntie said, oh, this is the same girl who was standing there. He asked, auntie, what happened to you? Auntie said, this girl looks familiar. The guard asked, hey, is she your girlfriend? The boy said, no. Then the auntie said, yes, I saw her with a sword. The guard asked, sword? What sword? He quickly said, no, that was cosplay. We were just playing cosplay. The auntie said, yeah, I know. My sons do that too. He said, oh, okay, cosplay. Then he grabbed her hand and quickly dragged her away, saying, let's go, man, we're leaving. As they left, the guard said, these kids and their pairs, back in our days, we never had such things. We used to be shy, but these kids are openly romancing. Then they went to the side, and the girl pulled her hand away. He said, are you crazy? He saw you with a sword. Good thing I handled it, otherwise we'd be in trouble. Then he said, look. The girl said, that car is going so fast. He said, yeah, it's called a car. It has 4 wheels. Think of it like horses in your time. She started imagining horses. Men calling a car a bike. I don't even know what to say. He said, can you see that? Those are eyes. If you do anything weird, like jumping or running, it will see you and throw you in jail. He tried to scare her, and she got nervous. He started explaining, but she began walking ahead. He kept saying, where are you going? She picked up a stone and was about to throw it, to attack the thing's eyes. He said, hey, what are you doing with that stone? Then she said, don't think like that, we'll get into trouble. The police will arrest us and throw us in jail. Are you really thinking of destroying it? The boy said, am I crazy to even be talking to her? Just throw the stone away. Poor guy, must be thinking where did these 2 birds from 1200 years ago drop in from. Then he took her to a heavy traffic area. He said, look, this is a traffic light. See the red and green light? When it's red, we stop. When it's green, we walk. It's even written in the law, alright? Otherwise we'll get in trouble. We have to follow it. Then the green light turned on. He said, let's go now. She was just looking around and quietly following him. Then she looked up at a lamp, saw the light glowing. Sometimes she looked at shops, sometimes at cars. Everything felt so new to her. Well, after all, 1,200 years ago everything was tiny and simple. Then suddenly a dog started barking at her. He said, should I put a leash on her? And thought about how it would look. Then he thought, no, this is too much. Let's drop it. She was watching him wondering what he was even doing. Then we saw that he had gone to a ring shop and was thinking of buying her something to put in her hair, like whatever girls wear. I have no idea, maybe a hairband or something. He held it up and asked, do you like this? She looked at it and started tugging on it. He said, man, I must be mad to have given this to her. Then she tied it super quickly on her head, and the guy was shocked. Even I was shocked. He said, wow, it suits you really well. Then evening came and they went to eat lunch. He gave the order to the chef. The chef said, no problem, we'll bring your food soon. They sat at the desk. He said, look, this is the place where we eat. First, we get the food, then we pay afterward, okay? He explained that all this food and stuff is for eating. The girl was just looking around quietly, like, what is all this? Total chaos. She didn't say anything. Poor girl was in shock. She was just thinking, what kind of place is this? And he was thinking, I don't think she's doing too well with all this. I thought it would be easy for her, but it's getting too complicated. Then the food came, and the girl panicked again. He said, hey, the food is here. Don't worry, let's eat. She asked, okay, so we eat this? I don't even know, man. Then he said, say thank you at least. She replied, okay, thank you. Meanwhile, Sue was just staring at them while sipping his drink. He thought, everything is too complicated for her, but it's okay, I'll help her. Then Sue said, this is salad. We eat it one by one, see? And they ate like gluttons, didn't even ask me. But no worries. Then he said, boss, give the check. I'll pay. After coming outside, he said, I'm totally full now. Let's go home. They got home and he started washing his hands and face. Then he asked her, do you trust me now? And she was still lost, like a missing person. Just turning her head around, unsure of where to go or what to do. Then the boy started explaining again. He said, look, this is a peaceful area. We have computers, food, alcohol, coke and stuff like that. Come outside. We live peacefully here. So now the real question is, should I make your ID card too, so you can enjoy all this? He started saying things like that. Would you like the next part of the story translated as well? Now that poor girl is still in shock. She's still shocked that how did those 1,200-year-old things come here, and she just keeps saying, I want to go home, but I can't. What will I do? And he is saying, yeah, that's right. You're a girl from 1,200 years ago. After all, how did you even come here? Anyway, then she asks, identity card? What identity card? Sue says, yes, that identity card. Though I don't think making your identity card will be that easy, but okay, I'll definitely help you. Now he says that. The girl, blushing, starts saying, very, very thank you, young hero, and all that. Sue says, yeah, okay, piece of cake, and all that. Then he says, come on, as you saw yesterday, I ordered food using my ID card. Then the girl says, which card? I threw that into the trash. The boy says, where did you throw it? She says, yeah, I threw it into the trash. The boy says, what? You threw it in the trash? That was my Aadhaar card, man. Then she brings that card and the boy says, yeah, see this. Then the girl asks, what's the use of this? The boy says, you can do some job and all with it easily. If you don't have it, you won't be able to get a job, nor will you be able to sleep anywhere, you'll have to sleep on the road. Now he starts daydreaming that she won't be able to go anywhere, can't travel here and there. Then he snaps out of it and says, see, that's the value of this card. The girl says, oh, is that so? Identity cards are that important? The boy says, yes, they are used in so many things. Now he starts registering her. He's just about to start registering her when the girl pulls out a sword. The boy says, hey crazy, forget this stuff here. Everything is registered electronically. Go do your study. She says, okay, let's go, and she's just in complete shock. Then after a while she says, am I treating you like a brother? Since I'm living here, does that mean you're my brother? The boy says, it's not a problem. You can live here as long as you want, Then he says, "Oh, I forgot to feed you." Then the cat comes to him and starts meowing. He says, "Oh, I forgot to feed you." Then he says, "Go now, it's time for your study, go and study." Then the girl says, "Okay, I'll have to study." And the boy says, "Man, I couldn't find anything useful to make her an identity card." Then he looks at the phone at home and sees it's 10 o'clock. Just then he gets a call from his friend and thinks, "Oh wow, he's a police officer and also a government official. Maybe he can help me." Then he thinks, if I tell him about her, he might get mad, and all that. Then he thinks, alright. We see through the chat that his friend is calling him over for tea, and he agrees. Then he thinks, come on, he's a police officer, he'll surely help me out. And thinking this, he goes to take a shower. Now he's getting completely naked, forgetting that there's a girl with him. He thinks, oh yeah, maybe she's gone to bathe. He starts thinking all that and realizes, oh, I forgot to bring her pajamas. How could I forget I'm living with a girl? Now he's thinking that when suddenly the boy runs off because the girl is also bathing. He's now thinking, how could I forget I'm living with a girl? Then he says, thank God, she didn't see me, otherwise who knows what she would have thought about me, and all that. Then we're shown that the girl is already done bathing. And I didn't really understand this scene, what was the point of it? Anyway, we're shown that it's around 10 o'clock, and the girl is calmly bathing, all chill. What are you people looking at? Don't look at these kinds of things. They're showing too much right now. Anyway, all that aside, then he shows her a tape recorder or typewriter or whatever it is and says, look, this is for typing, for writing. And the girl says, oh, it's for writing? I can write here. The boy says, yes, you can write one word at a time. Just then the cat comes again meowing. The boy says, oh, I forgot to feed you. Come on, time to feed you. Now he starts feeding the cat. Then the girl says, 1 second, what is this? What is this thing? The boy says, it's cat food. The girl asks, cat food? Does this grow on trees too? The boy says, crazy, nothing like that. It's just manufactured, okay? Just then his food delivery arrives. The food guy comes and the girl says, oh, dinner is here too. All right then. Then Sue says, I'll tell you how you can call me if I'm not home someday. He starts explaining it to her, and the girl is just eating pizza and looking really cute. He even says, wow, how cute she looks. Just then, the cat comes to her again meowing. Now she's looking at the cat and asking, can I feed it some of my pizza or burger? The boy says, no, don't feed it burger. It eats cat food. The girl asks, why? The boy says, because it's unhealthy. It's not good for its health. Now the poor girl gets shocked. The girl says, so all this time I've been eating unhealthy food? These hamburgers aren't fit for me, and so on. She starts thinking again. The girl gets really irritated and says, are you feeding me unhealthy food? Anyway, then the boy says, look, I made your ID. Now you can send me mail, okay? Then he says, if there's any problem, send me mail or message me. Then he leaves the house and starts thinking, will this girl be able to manage? Will she be fine without me? Anyway, he's reached his friend's place, because his friend had called him, not for tea but for alcohol. For now, he doesn't find his friend and just sees that he's calling him from over there. Then he says, dude, why are you sitting in such darkness? And he says, it was a little hard to find you. The friend says, yeah, I know. It's kind of dark here, but that's okay. I like it. Come sit. I'll serve you, meaning he's talking about serving alcohol. For now, Sue asks, can cops drink alcohol too? Now the friend says, crazy, I'm not on duty right now. Stop asking these stupid questions, okay? Look at my dress. I look like an ordinary person. Stop asking those stupid questions. Then the guy says, okay, fine. Let me order food for you, and he starts ordering food and all. This is the food, and man, my mouth is watering. Anyway, no problem. Look how they're eating like gluttons. For now, he says, come on, tell me. How's your job going? How are you doing as a cop? Are you enjoying? Then the friend says, don't even ask, man, and he starts pouring out his sorrow and pain and all. For now, he says, I'm the one who has all the problems in life. Sometimes I'm stopping divorces, making peace between couples, then sometimes I'm making peace between an uncle and his kids. My life's become totally messed up, man. I don't even understand what I thought and what it's turned into. Finally, I don't get anything at all anymore. The boy says, okay, fine, no problem, what did you think? Then he tells him that he didn't really think about anything special. He thought he would become a brave police officer, so brave that he could climb up and jump down. Like, what kind of logic is this? Anyway, this is his logic. He thinks he will protect his girlfriend by jumping from the top or something like that. I don't know what he said. Now Sue tells him, man, you're completely crazy, and he's saying, yeah, think whatever you want. Sue is thinking, should I tell him about that girl? Is it possible? I mean, would it be right? Then he thinks, stop dreaming, this guy is just one of those guys. I don't think he's going to help me. Then he turns his face to the side and says, I have something to tell you. The friend asks, what is it? Tell me now. Sue says, imagine a guy, okay, and he's lost all his memories and he wants to make an identity card for work. So is that possible? The friend says, a new card? That's probably not going to happen because he doesn't have any proof. So how will he get a new card? And what do you think? Can he do anything? He's completely useless, he can't do anything. Sue says, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say, so how will the identity card be made? Tell me. The friend says, what do you mean, do you have that person? Where have you hidden him? Now the police mode switches on again, like when he's a cop. His police mode starts again. He says, which friend? Tell me where he's staying. Sue says, oh, why are you talking nonsense? I have a neighbor, his uncle's son, meaning he's making excuses, saying it's his friend, so he's my friend, right? Now he's talking like this, trying to deflect. The friend says, okay, but what if you encounter him, then how will you identify him? Sue says, I don't think he will need to be encountered unless he creates some crime. If that guy commits any crime, then he'll need to be caught. The friend says, and why are you acting so weird? Tell me. Sue says, I don't know, I'm just asking. Then the friend says, an ordinary person wouldn't do this. Sue says, I'm not acting weird, and you keep your police stuff to yourself, I'm just asking for advice. Then the friend says, yeah, you're right, you're asking me for advice, and I'm acting like a weirdo. Sorry about that. Then he starts giving him a drink and Sue says, I don't even know what I should do. The friend says, man, you're a cop, what's with all these weird questions? Sue says, alright, fine, I'll change the topic. Anyway, I didn't have any topic, that's why I asked these questions. Then Sue says, if you have to put handcuffs on me, what would you do? The friend says, what nonsense are you talking? First, I would never investigate you. And forget all this, your brother is still alive. Sue says, yeah, okay, now what about the identity card? The friend says, there's no way. Look, if I hold this knife in my hand and stab you in the stomach, like, I kill you and then what? I get a plastic surgery after killing someone, will I be caught? Sue says, don't kill me, kill someone else. The friend says, okay, I killed someone else and then after killing him I get plastic surgery. What do you think, will I get caught? Sue says, if the person lost his memory and there's no valid proof, then how would there be any record? How would we know anything about his past? The friend says, look, there's a golden rule. Stop dreaming, okay? And you're acting really weird. I think you're showing some cop heat now. Sue says, yeah, I think I am too, but anyway, I'm doing some nonsense right now. Then the friend says, okay, bring the bill. Sue says, no, I'll pay. They reach the counter, and the friend asks, how much is it? The cashier says, your total is 128 yuan. The friend says, there's an offer, so after paying 100 yuan, you get extra things with it. Sue says, wow, so I can give this to my cat. Then he starts thinking again and says, okay, pack this all up. Then he says, bye, see you later. The friend says, yeah, it seems like I've got a big issue in my hands, but it's interesting, feels like it's fun. He leaves singing a song, thinking about himself and the girl, and saying, man, this guy's in a romantic mood, what's he thinking? Anyway, he's coming home now and says, I'm back, and it's 10 o'clock. He says, oh, she's asleep. The girl is snoring and he says, man, she looks so cute while sleeping. He thinks, what is this feeling? It feels like her feelings are waking up. Is she going to do something weird? But he thinks to himself, no, she won't. I'm Sue, the hero. Then he goes to her and she says, oh, you're back, awkwardly. Sue says, yeah, I'm back and I brought food for you because you must be hungry. She says, thank you. Sue acts like he's surprised and says, you're going to thank me, huh? She says, yes, thank you, young hero Sue. He says, this is like child's play. He asks again. She says, "Did you drink?" He says, "No, not much, just a bottle with my friend." She smells something and says, "It smells like alcohol." He opens the yogurt pack and says, "This is yogurt, we have to eat it by licking it. Eat it quickly or it will go bad." Then he starts licking it and says, "Hey, try it, don't just watch." She tries it and says, "It's tasty." Sue says, "How is it good?" Then he says, "Okay, perfect, eat it. I'll be back in a minute." As he walks away, he thinks, "What a nice feeling, I'm coming home, and someone's waiting for me. Life is good." Then the scene shifts, and he's thinking, is she still studying? He wonders how good the sound is from the other room. He goes inside and asks, "What did you do with the piece?" He's talking about the bra, and the girl says, "I don't know where I put it." She imagines what she should do with it. Sue says, "What are you talking about?" He quickly regrets asking and they both get embarrassed. She says, "Okay, I'll tell you how to use the hairdryer." Then they show it's 10 o'clock, and the girl is looking at the dress Sue bought for her. She's thinking, if I wear this, I'll become like this fairy, angry and all. She throws the dress aside. Now she's thinking, should I take a shower every day? She's asking herself, am I lucky to have a young hero like Sue who always helps me? I don't know how long this will last, and I don't understand how this world works. She keeps asking herself these questions. As time passed, morning came. She woke up and looked very cute. Meanwhile, the boy says, "Good morning." The girl asks, "Are you working again?" The boy replies, No, I was just watching some news." The girl, with irritation, says, "Are you making fun of me?" The boy replies, No, I was just watching some news, it helps to improve the mood in the morning. By the way, for your identity card, how can I restore it? Are you hungry? Let me make you breakfast." The girl says, "It's okay." The boy says, "Okay, take care, and also watch some news." He then goes outside, smiling and laughing, looking quite handsome. Meanwhile, the watchman comes and says, "Little Sue." The boy asks, "What happened, Auntie? Is there a problem?" The auntie is in a dangerous situation and asks, "Do you know what happened last night?" "Something strange happened." He asks, "What strange thing happened last night?" She says, "Her dog started barking." "Is there any reason?" The boy says, Yes, I saw too. This place is becoming haunted, my dog has been barking for 3 or 4 days, I don't know why." The boy asks, "Have you ever seen anything, uncle?" The watchman replies, "I didn't notice anything like that, but maybe the CCTV cameras noticed it, let's check." They think that a ghost might have come there. But it's not a ghost, it's a girl, who is his girlfriend, or will be his girlfriend. For now, they are looking at the CCTV footage on the computer mouse and see something flying in the air. Look, that black thing flying in the air, that's it. He realizes that it is the same girl. Everyone else gets scared, but Sue understands that it's the girl who is flying. He wonders, how is she doing these things behind my back? They start thinking it's a ghost, but Sue asks, "Uncle, do you believe it? This happened last night." The watchman says, "I don't remember." Sue says, Okay, let's think about it, maybe the ghost passed by." The watchman agrees, "It's possible, maybe the ghost passed by." Sue says, "Okay, I will keep my eyes open for the next 2 or 3 days." Sue goes inside and shouts to the girl, "Did you go outside 3 or 4 days ago or at some point?" The girl asks, "How do you know?" Sue says, "I saw you." The girl says, "Yes, I did, I was wearing a black outfit, but I covered my face. There's nothing to worry about." Sue says, "Okay, this girl has some brains." Sue says, "If you need to go anywhere, just tell me, I will take you." The girl asks, "Did you face any problem?" Sue replies, "No, nothing like that, but I handled the situation. I told them it's a ghost." The girl asks, "Ghost? Which ghost?" Sue explains by searching something online. He shows it to her and says, "Look, the things you were doing, people would call the police. Then they would arrest you, beat you, and maybe kill you." The girl gets scared hearing this. She starts tightening her clothes and says, "Oh no, something bad will happen to me." Sue says, "No problem, I'm here, I will help you." Then he asks, "Okay, tell me, what do you want to eat? Burger, chicken?" The girl looks at him lovingly and romantically and says, "No, something healthy." Sue replies, "Okay, for healthy, you can eat cat food." She gives him a teasing look. This episode ends here. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. Meanwhile, the scene shifts and they are going to do laundry. which means today could be Saturday, because I always do my laundry on Saturdays. Anyway, the guy was saying, do you need to wash clothes too? Look, this is called a washing machine, okay? You put clothes inside it. The girl was saying, can I wash my clothes too? The guy says, yeah, of course, you can bring your clothes too. Then he says, look, this is detergent, okay? It cleans the clothes. She quickly runs off and comes back fast. Like, look at her speed, bro. Anyway, I won't call her sister, I'll try to flirt too. Though it's a manhwa, for now she puts her clothes in. Then the guy says, hey, what is this thing? You brought all your clothes. Then he picks up one item of clothing and the girl gets angry seeing it. She says, what did you pick up? She snatches it away quickly and runs off. I don't know what it was. The guy is saying, what happened to her? It feels like something went wrong. Then he says, her leg looks fine, but what suddenly happened to her? Then he starts searching something on the internet. Then he says, man, this is so weird. Now he's thinking in his mind. Then he starts asking, are your legs okay? Can you show me? The girl straight up refuses, says no. Now bro, I didn't understand what this scene even was. Anyway, he asks, is that thing okay too? Now here, what does he mean by thing? Bro, let me explain a little. The guy is then shocked. He starts thinking, how would she, what if she, what should I even explain? Then he says, are they small? Like, bro, what should I say? You people read it yourself, okay? Then he just keeps thinking and saying, man, what a big idiot I am, etc., etc. He starts thinking this. Then while he's still thinking, suddenly the girl says, enough is enough. You've annoyed me too much now. Bro, this girl is both blushing and angry at the same time. I don't know what the scene is. Suddenly she stands up with a sword and says, guju guju. Whatever that means, she says it in her mind. And she's standing there with a sword saying, you buffalo-legged idiot, how are you bothering me like this? She's standing with a sword, but she doesn't say much and just walks off again. Of course, she also knows that the guy is a good person, not bad at heart. Then the guy starts thinking, saying, look, do you even know how beautiful girls are so nice, etc., etc. He starts complimenting and says that there's a state called Chu where they live. The guy is saying this and trying to explain that beautiful girls do this, and he says, their eyes are like this, their skin is like that, and basically he's complimenting. He says that when she smiles, it feels like some huge fairy-type girl and I can't even praise that much. Anyway, he was saying that and this girl imagines herself. Maybe she's thinking she could be that type of girl. Like, bro, look at her imagination, she's thinking she could be his wife. Then he says, 5 things, see how incredible it is. Anyway, then he says, how would it feel if I married some unattractive woman? Like, wouldn't that feel terrible? All my love would just be over. Then he says, I like warrior-type girls. He's basically flirting, bro. In guy language, that means he's flirting with my girl. He says, stay away from her. Whatever, what's yours and mine, everything is mine. Anyway, the girl doesn't know yet. Right now he was saying, in your time, things must have happened like, let's say someone is in debt. Then they'd be told if you can't pay the debt, then fine, become my servant. Like in the next life, you'll be my servant. He's saying that kind of stuff. Then he says, well, I don't have anything, so you can take my body and soul and my heart too. Now the girl angrily says, who wants your body, you nasty leech? She's saying that to him. The guy says, hey, I was just joking. It's just joking. Now he brings his cat back and says, okay, it's my fault. Okay, calm down. Anyway, what can we say, bro? Meanwhile, it's shown he was saying, look, watch this video. This video will show you how you can wear it, etc., etc. He was saying, I'll come back in 5 minutes, you watch the video. Okay, now it's shown he comes back after 5 minutes and asks her. Then the girl says, man, people these days are so weird. Do they wear things like this? How awkward and strange. The guy says, what's strange about it? They're comfortable, they enjoy it. It's just normal. Now the girl says, shameless. This is very shameless behavior. This generation is just so shameless. Then she's saying that and the guy says, look, girls show whatever they want. It's their choice, to hide or not to hide. Okay? What's your problem in that? If guys can cover up, then why can't girls show? Now he starts yelling at her. Now the girl says, that's just. Then she says, I don't accept this. Now she says, this is just unacceptable. Now the guy is yelling at her, then the guy says, okay, if you don't like it, fine. Forget it. Let's do something else. Now what are they doing? Like, what are you even thinking, bro? Anyway, he says, look, there are a lot of things in a computer. There are games in it too. So what do you think? Do you even know? Playing games. 90% of people feel relaxed playing games, okay? Research shows this. So, look, this is how you play a game, that's how you play it. He starts showing her and the game is Super Mario. Bro, he really is Superman. It was a very popular game. Anyway, I used to play it too. Right now the girl just gets into the game and starts playing. Now the guy is saying, do it like this, do it like that. Basically he's teaching her and the girl is learning. Anyway, the guy says, good, I got her busy with the game. Otherwise, this girl would have started thinking again, like shouting, how do I go? What should I do? Should I practice martial arts? Or insist on going home? Basically, she'd be thinking a lot of things. Right now he's just thinking in his mind that, bro, this is good. Then suddenly he comes and says, okay, that's enough. You've been playing for an hour now. Already 1 hour is done. Anyway, he says, come on, how about I teach you this next game? Now the girl says, okay, and then he teaches her this game too. Now the girl gets busy again. Man, what can I even say? Her computer's battery just doesn't run out. My phone's battery drains so quickly. Anyway, he says, alright, everything's over now, I'll go to sleep and let her play the game. And in the background, the sound of clicks from the game is coming. The guy says, good thing I didn't give her a job. If I had, the interviewer would have driven me crazy asking questions like, this girl from 1200 years ago, where did she come from? Now we're shown the guy goes to sleep. He's really asleep. Then as soon as he wakes up, he sees that the girl is still busy playing the game. What can even be said? Anyway, he comes out yawning and says, okay, it's dinner time. Today again, the guy says, we'll go for a night walk, so you'll have to change your dress. And also, change your hairstyle too, okay? You look really weird with this hairstyle. How will people think you're mysterious like this? So just change your hairstyle. He says this and walks away. The girl starts thinking, what can I even say? She's thinking, will I look like that? Now he's thinking to himself, maybe she'll look like this. No, then he blushes and says, no way, I'm blushing myself, man. Then he thinks, no, she definitely won't look like that. Then he thinks, what kind would she look like? He imagines again, maybe she'll look like this type. Then we're shown he imagines her as a chubby type. Oh no, she's not like that either. Then he thinks of a cute, sweet girl and goes, wow, maybe this type. Now what can I say? Anyway, he thinks, let me look for some dresses for her. Now he starts searching on Google, women clothing. Then the scene shifts and we see they've gone outside. Suddenly an uncle says, oh, walking with your girlfriend? The guy says, no, she's just a friend, no walking like that. Then suddenly he asks the uncle, uncle, is this stick made of peach wood? He asks the uncle and the uncle replies, no, this isn't peach wood. I've ordered one, but it's on the way. Then we're shown the uncle says, son, the new year is coming, so don't forget to take my photo, okay? The guy says, yes, sure. Anyway, take care, it's dark out here. The man replies, I don't need to be afraid. I know Buddhist. I mean, it's a technique. I know it. Then he says, yeah, I feel like I should get committed to this girl. The guy is thinking that. Then we're shown both the guy and the girl walking, and the girl is a bit bothered, turning her head here and there. Then suddenly she asks, what is a girlfriend? The guy says, nothing, it's just like a friend. Then the girl says, then why does it have girl in it? The guy says, because you're female, that's why it has girl in it. You're female and I'm male. Then the girl says, then why are you refusing to call me your girlfriend? The guy says, you won't understand. I'll tell you later in the future. Then the girl says, oh, man, what can I even say? The guy thinks, if she finds out what girlfriend really means, she might leave the house in the middle of the night. He's thinking that now. Then suddenly he asks, when we saw that video, the one about the dynasty, have you heard of that dynasty? Do you know about it? The girl shakes her head and says, no, I haven't seen it. The guy says, oh, okay. Then we're shown both the guy and the girl just walking, and the girl is observing everything and saying, no food here, and so on. She notices the cleanliness, how happy everyone looks, this and that. She says the soil is firm, this is happening, that is happening. Basically, she's lost in her own imagination, thinking, wow, what a beautiful place. It really feels like a dream. Then she says, I don't even know how I came here. It still feels like I'm dreaming. Yes, it is dreaming. Then we're shown the guy saying, Miss Warrior, would you like to have tea? The girl says, tea? What's that? The guy says, okay, 2 teas, put less ice and less sugar, okay? Then we're shown she takes the tea, holds it and says, what is this weird thing? She says, there's something like chocolate at the bottom. Then she asks, Is the guy doing any work to earn money? Should I also learn to do a job? She's thinking and says that to the guy. The guy says, yes, you need to do a job too. But you don't even have an ID card, so how will you earn money? Then the girl says, oh, okay. Then the guy says, alright, try the boba tea. Tell me how it is. And the girl says, oh, and starts making a strange face. She's just making weird expressions, man, that's all I can say. Then she says, it's a little weird but okay. How hard is it to chew this? Then the guy says, crazy, you're not supposed to chew it, silly. He laughs and says, you're supposed to suck it through the straw gently. Then he gives her his straw and says, don't chew it like that, this is how you taste it. Now the girl starts sucking on it. She didn't know how to do it. Then he explains, you don't chew it like this, you do it like that and taste it. Now she sucks it in and really likes it. She says, wow, delicious. What can I even say? Then the guy says, okay, you can have mine. And the way he says it, it looks so nice. What can I say? He's totally flirting. Anyway, he says, I liked that you drank my drink, where the boy was saying, I'm full now, let's go for a walk, it'll help with digestion. The girl replies, okay, let's go. Now we see them walking together, like a couple, we could say. The boy sees something and says, just watch, I'll take you to a nice place. He seems to have a dangerous plan in mind, something that exists in every boy's mind. A bus arrives and the boy tells her, just don't be nervous and keep following me, okay? She follows him as he says, and she looks really cute doing that. They get on the bus, and the boy tells her, go sit by the window, you'll enjoy it more and get to see better, experience the point of this life. The bus starts moving and the boy says, wow, look how lovely it looks, how smoothly this vehicle is running. I thought you'd be really excited and curious, but you look so chill and calm. The girl replies, I've ridden a horse before, bro, what should I say? He still sees the bus as a horse. Anyway, they reach their destination and the boy says, look, this is the bridge. They're shown near the bridge, by the sea. Obviously, the view there would be amazing. It looked beautiful, even I enjoyed watching it. The boy says, back in your time, it must have been all dark because there were no lights. But look now, it's a modern city. That's why they call it a modern city. The girl asks, am I really in the future? The boy says, I don't even need to tell you. Just ask your own heart. Then he says, yes, this really is the future. Both are watching and wow, just seeing them made me happy. I wish my girl were like that. The boy continues, I can show you so many amazing things. He starts taking pictures of her, and she looks beautiful in them too. Then he says, once I get your ID, I'll take you to the sky. The girl asks, sky? The boy says, yes, the sky in an airplane. He adds, we can even go to the moon, it just takes money, but in the future, I'll save up a lot. For that, my small house is fine. The girl says, I also want to travel the world a lot. The boy replies, after that, we'll enjoy life together, all those typical couple talks, even though nothing official has happened between them yet. Then he says, your lifestyle, really, you're such a great girl that it took 1,200 years to meet you. Then he says, time's up, and we see what he meant. The sky begins to light up, oh my God, a sky shot near the sea. I also have a dream like that. If only I had someone to share it with, but I don't have anyone. Anyway, life goes on. The sky shot continues, and both are saying wow. Her eyes are wide open in awe. She says, after 1,200 years, this is so amazing. The boy asks, what's on your mind? She replies, I was just thinking. He asks, what are you thinking about? She says, if I could experience the whole world, travel the entire globe. The boy thinks about her wish and says, then I should do something. The girl asks, what? The boy says, okay, you'll be able to travel the world on my behalf. Don't worry. Then he says, welcome to my era. He starts welcoming her to this era, and then the scene shifts. We're shown our hero again, who's reading the news. The guy looks like this and he's saying, I don't know what a great sin this is. I don't know what sin he's talking about. He's eating a burger and says, Look, look. The girl says, I don't know what's happening outside. Why are there so many people gathered? The guy asks, where is the crowd gathered? Show me. He says, what happened here? Then he says, these people are still obsessed with ghosts. He says people still think about ghosts. He adds, the ghost is right here with me. The girl says, why are all these people locked up like they're in jail? The guy replies, eat, use the computer, eat again, watch a movie, then eat again. Is this what being locked in jail looks like to you? He continues, we're doing whatever we want, eating, drinking, no restrictions, nothing. We have freedom. Then he says, silly, this is called a lifestyle. The girl says, I don't get it. The guy says, we can do whatever we want, inside or outside, live however we like. We have full freedom. The girl says, so lying around like lazy people is called freedom? Then she says, I want to go outside, I want to explore the world in my own way. The guy says, you want to explore it yourself? Without my help. He continues, I think you're joking. Can you go out by yourself? I mean, you have 2 legs to walk and eyes to see, but what will you do there? There's no roof to stay under. What will you eat? He continues, here, you don't have money or anything. What will you do once the money is gone? This isn't the olden days where you could go into the jungle and hunt or eat from the trash. You're not a cat, right? The girl feels shy and he says, she's gone mad. Then the girl says, without an ID card, I can't do anything. The boy replies, yeah, something like that. But don't worry, I'll arrange your ID card and everything very soon. Now the girl is feeling sad. The boy is saying, whatever your habit is, change it, okay? Stop thinking about all that. Just try to understand the world. The girl replies, I don't want to understand anything now, I don't want to understand anything at all. The boy says, look, you've learned to travel by bus. This is money, with money we can travel in the bus. Now he says, outside there's talk of a ghost going around, people still think it's a ghost. The girl asks, are there still ghosts here? The boy replies, no, it's all just those tantric babas, occultists, nothing special. There's nothing ghostly. The ghost is you. He starts joking like that. Then he says, when you start earning money, then you can pay me. There's no need to pay me now. The girl says, okay, but what if I can't earn? The boy says, it's okay, I'll find some other way. The girl says, many thanks, young hero. Now the boy starts blushing, oh no, leave it, I don't need thanks. He acts like he's being modest. I mean like me, although I don't act like that because I don't even have a girlfriend. Anyway, he starts searching for job-related stuff on the internet, hoping to find something useful in this digital age. Then he starts thinking, what should I even say? If she goes alone, etc. Then he says, all right, go play a game. The girl replies, no, I can't play games, I need to earn money. The boy says, before you earn money, you need to learn how to use a computer. Now we see someone knocking at the door. The boy gets nervous and says, who's come? Is it someone from my house? He says, I think someone from my family is here, and he's shocked, thinking, what now? He starts saying, quick, quick, hide, go hide, hide somewhere. He's panicking, saying, go here, go there. Then says, yeah, I'm coming. Now we see it's his dad. The boy says, Dad, what are you doing here? His dad looks at him angrily and weirdly and says, call me landlord. Then he says, you still haven't found a job? The dad starts looking around the house. The boy says, Dad, do you really think I need a job? I'm already a YouTuber. I earn decently. The dad says, this isn't a proper job. The boy replies, Dad, leave it, it's a holiday, let me enjoy the holiday. But his dad insists, it would be better if you find a job. Then he warns him, find a job or I'll increase your rent next month. The boy says, Dad, did you see those tantric babas outside the house? His dad says, yes, I saw. What's going on here? The boy says, you don't know, there's ghost activity around here. I think you should lower the rent. The dad replies, Ghost, my foot. Go get a job quickly or I'll double your rent. Now I should mention the dad takes rent from him because he doesn't have a job. Then the dad suddenly yells, "𝙒𝙤𝙤𝙤, what is this?" He sees a girl's dress. Obviously, if a single guy has a girl's dress in his house, what will anyone think? 𝙒𝙤𝙤 says, Dad, let me explain. He's thinking, if I say I wore that dress, how embarrassing would that be? So he says instead, my friend's sister is staying here temporarily. He continues thinking, Dad, there's nothing like what you're thinking. She's my friend's sister who came to stay here. His dad says, what did you say? The boy tries to explain, she's his sister, so you can consider her like a sister to me. The dad says, okay, show me. Then the boy calls out, 𝙤𝙤𝙤, come out, open the door. We see the girl open the door and come out quietly, standing in the corner looking innocent. The boy says, Dad, her name is 𝙤𝙤𝙤 and this is my dad. Then he says to her, just don't create any problems. Suddenly the girl also calls him Dad. Now she's saying, what should I call him? Can I call him Uncle? They're whispering back and forth. The dad is shocked that the girl called him Dad. He starts thinking, oh no, could she be his girlfriend? Then the girl says, nice to meet you, Uncle. The dad replies, nice to meet you, bro, sorry, daughter, whatever. Then he says, okay, come with me for a second. He pulls the boy aside. To the girl, he says, you go on doing whatever you were doing. She replies, okay. Then the dad says, now tell me the truth. The boy replies, there's nothing, like I said, my friend's sister came to stay here temporarily. The dad asks, is she your girlfriend? The boy says, no, she's not my girlfriend. Don't think like that. She's definitely not my girlfriend. The dad is suspicious. He says, she called me Dad. The boy says, you heard it wrong. The dad then asks, okay, how old is she? The boy replies, 18. The dad says, what a big sin you've committed. The boy says, what sin? Why can't someone live with a girl? Even if we're dating, it's not a sin. How does this even look like a sin? He starts yelling and shouting. The dad is totally shocked and says, I came here to collect rent and you're hanging out with a girlfriend. The dad is like, I came for rent, what is happening here? He says, you're a wicked boy. The boy replies, no, it's nothing like that. Believe me, she's just my friend's sister. Then he says, look, I already paid you the money, 238 yuan, right? I paid it immediately. He adds, now give me the key. The dad says, this is my house. I'm the owner. The boy says, I paid the rent, so give me the key quickly. Now I'll tell you why he's asking for the key. He's thinking, if in the future they come to the house while I'm away, the girl will be alone. That's his plan. He says, wow, my plan worked perfectly. Good thing I'm not working right now. He now has both keys because obviously every house has 2 keys. He's thinking, if this guy comes while I'm not here and finds the girl alone and she tells him everything honestly, what will happen? He says, this old man wants to play a game with me. Fine, I'll play along. He's happy that he got the key. Then the dad says, your mom was calling you for dinner. Come home quietly. Now the boy is saying, yeah, I'm a little busy too. And the dad was saying, you. Now the boy was saying, no, Dad, she's not my girlfriend. I told you she's just my friend, okay? Now the dad was saying, yeah, alright. You think your dad is stupid or what? I mean stupid, whatever. He was saying, your dad is stupid? He says, alright, I'm still working. As soon as I'm free, I'll definitely come to see. Then the dad says, okay, do come. And find a job and quickly forget your past, alright? Find a job. Being a YouTuber isn't going to help. Now the boy says, okay Dad, let's see what I can manage. Now the dad is about to leave and says, okay, remember, be safe, and I'll explain later what be safe means. He was saying, we're just friends. Now let me tell you, be safe here means that there shouldn't be any mischief between them. Anyway, the boy says, Dad, wait. Now we are shown that he shows a slipper of that girl. Bro, obviously the slipper is 1,200 years old. Anyway, the boy was saying, Dad, look, I got this from the Tang dynasty. What do you think, how many years old this must be? Now Dad, this is from that period. Dad, do you think this is something useful to us? Now he is asking, and his dad looks at it closely and then starts thinking, I have no idea if this is useful to me or not. But one thing I do know is that you definitely need to get a mental checkup, should be sent to a psychologist. Now he says this and walks away saying, at this age, I can't give birth to another son. After that, we are shown a scene inside the police station. There are 3 to 4 policemen sitting and just passing time. One guy is saying, are you hungry? Another guy says, yeah, let's go to McDonald's. Now he says, I've been hungry for days. That's what he says. Anyway, he asks, anyone else hungry? Want to work? Meanwhile, we see Sue's friend sitting there, and he says, no, I'm not hungry, but thanks. Now he turns to the side and starts saying, what a boring day. No work, nothing at all, just a completely boring day. Now he starts saying that and the rest of the 3 officers start staring at him. Now he says, hey, what happened? Why are you guys looking at me? Now he says, didn't your mentor teach you anything? He says, what? No. Now he's making weird faces shyly. Anyway, they all are annoyed with him, like this guy is truly crazy. Just then, their phone rings, so they have to leave. Now we are shown that they're saying, let's go for work. Now we see both of them getting into the car, and Sue's friend, who's also a cop, is with him. Anyway, he says, look, next time don't say that it's a boring day and there's no work, okay? Remember that. He asks, but why? Why shouldn't I say that? The other one says, dude, I can't explain it, but if we say there's no work, work will definitely come. That's just our mentality or something, I don't know. Now he's thinking, what kind of nonsense is that? If there's no work and we think about work, work will come? Just then we're shown they arrive at the place where the complaint was made. The guy says, I'll check 14, you check 6. Then he says, no, let's check together. Both are scared too. Anyway, he says, wow, feels like a real police experience. Feels like I'm really working. Just then, they see a drunk guy lying down. They say, I think this is the one. Then they ask him, hey, are you sleeping? Now he starts saying, and as he gets up he says, hey, why are you so late? I've been waiting forever. My wife isn't opening the door, open it for me. Then the other guy opens the door and says, bro, how drunk are you? Anyway, he was saying, open the door, the police have come. Then we see a lady opens the door. Then he asks, did you make the call? The lady says, no, I didn't call. Maybe one of the family members did. She says this, and just then the man lying down says, hey, who are you talking to? I made the call. Don't you remember? She kicked me out of the house. Now the cop asks, is he your husband? The lady says, yes, he is my husband, but I kicked him out because he drank too much. Then she says, I'll give him a lecture. The man says, lecture, my foot. You can't give me any lecture. What nonsense are you saying? I'm your husband, and I've only had a little to drink. Everything's ruined, everything's finished. Then the cop says, how about I send you to the police station? He says this threateningly. The man says, no, that's not necessary. Now, bro, all the drunkenness is gone. Anyway, he says, okay, now both of you calm down, don't create trouble. It's late, get some sleep, let us sleep too. Now we're shown the 2 police officers coming back down peacefully, and one of them gets a call again on his microphone. He says, see, I told you if we say there's no work, we'll get work. If we say we have too much work, then there's no work. What even is this logic? Anyway, we're shown that Sue suddenly wakes up in the middle of the night and says, what's that sound? What is this noise? Now we see he says, I think this girl is up to something again. Then he says, just as I expected, this girl is wandering around again. Now he says, hey warriors, are you crazy? Just then we see his eyes open again and Sue says, hey, who are you? Now we see it's a thief, obviously a thief. He says, hey, who are you? Just then the girl wakes up too, she opens her eyes. Both of them wake up. Just then, 𝙒 starts chasing the thief, and the thief starts running. We see 𝙒 running after him, shouting, "Stop! Stop!" The girl rushes forward so fast and catches him. Bro, her speed is too much. Wish I had a girlfriend like that, it would have been amazing. Anyway, we're shown she grabs him with one hand and holds him so tightly that marks are left on his hand. 𝙒 says, "Hey, stop. Stop. Do you want to kill this guy with your strength? Don't use so much strength, this poor guy will die." Then 𝙒 says, let him go, and we see that the person is not a man but actually a boy. Now he's scared and trembling, even though he didn't do anything, he's still shivering. 𝙒 says, "What a crazy girl, man, who's this cruel?" Now he's looking at her and saying, "What the hell is going on? What's this mess?" Then he looks at the hand, and there's such a bad bruise left from her grip that her fingers are imprinted on his skin. Now he says, "She almost killed him. What kind of woman is this? She's a monster." And we're shown her monster-like image. He guesses and says, "So cruel. How cruel is she?" Then he says, "Hey, stop, don't go anywhere. I'll call the police now." He says that until his police friend comes, she shouldn't leave. That guy is saying, "Big brother, my good brother," like he's begging. Anyway, then he looks at the girl again, and the girl glares at him so angrily that he quiets down again. He says, "Hey, that's not what I meant. I didn't want to steal. I've already been beaten up so much, I won't do it again." Now our 𝙒 says, "You totally deserved that beating." Then we see him saying, "Did God not give you hands and legs? And you're still stealing? Do you think money falls from the sky?" He scolds him hard and asks, "Is this your first time?" The thief says, Yeah, this is my first time." He's holding his injured hand and sitting there saying, "Yeah, this is my first time. I won't do anything like this again." He says, "My life is very miserable. I heard there's a ghost here, so I thought I'd use that as an excuse to steal. But instead, I met a monster. I almost died." And it really seems like that girl is an expert in martial arts. Now 𝙒 starts thinking like that and says, "Man, I was so scared." 𝙒 says, "Is that so?" Then he says, "Okay, apologize. Apologize quickly." The thief says, "Yeah, sorry," and starts bowing his head. Then 𝙒 says, "He seems really insecure now. Fine, forget it. I should call the police. They'll take you to the hospital, patch you up, and then take you to jail." Now the thief says, No, I'm fine, big brother. I'm fine. Look, my wound is totally fine. This injury was from an accident." 𝙒 says, "Are you scared because I said I'll call the police? Is that why you're saying it's your first time?" The thief says, Yes, I'm telling the truth." Then we see 𝙒 walking and saying, "Go back the way you came." We see he has set up that arrow shooting thing at the window, or whatever it is, which they used to come in. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, he says, "Go back the way you came." The thief says, "Thank you, big brother. Thank you, big sister." Then he quickly climbs down, waving his hand, saying, "Thank you. Good things happen to good people. You both live well." And he leaves. Just then 𝙒 says, "Man, this guy is making so much noise, disturbing all the neighbors." And the girl asks, "You're just going to let him go like that?" 𝙒 says, "And what else can we do? If we report this, the police will start questioning us. And if the government investigates, they'll find out that you're a fraud and a fake person. We won't be able to prove where you came from." Then the girl says, "He's the one who was stealing, and we're the ones being questioned?" She starts asking, and 𝙒 explains, "Crazy, stealing is one thing, but you beat him up. That will be really hard to explain. And one more thing, why are you wearing that dress?" He starts asking her, "Why are you wearing that dress?" The girl says, "Oh, I use this for sleeping. It's loose and comfy, perfect for sleeping." And she says, "I heard some noise, so I came here." 𝙒 says, "Do you think everyone makes noise at night like this? Stop imagining things. People here aren't like you, sitting like an owl all night." He says, "Fine, I'll see tomorrow how to fix this window." And he starts walking away saying, "I'm going to sleep. You should sleep too." Now I don't know why he's showing his stomach while leaving, but anyway. Then he says, let me turn off the light. You go sleep. Good night. And he leaves, and the girl also says good night. Now we're shown the morning scene. We see their apartment. Yes, apartment, I forgot the word. Anyway, we're shown that in the morning he's brushing his teeth, then he wipes his face and steps out. As soon as he comes out, he sees the girl coming and asks her, did you finish your martial arts practice? Man, how is this girl so cute? Anyway, he's asked. The girl says, yeah. She's got full attitude. Obviously, she's a girl, she'll show attitude. Then he asks, how about from next time, you open the gate before practicing? He's saying, how about it? Tell me. She agrees and says, yeah, fine. Then Sue says, why did you agree so easily? The girl says, what kind of person are you? If I agree, it's bad, and if I don't agree, it's still bad. He laughs and says, yeah, that's the kind of person I am. Anyway, calm down, let's go out today, eat something outside. He says that, and the girl agrees. Sue says, last night I learned something, that we should listen more and speak less. He starts explaining to her and says, and learn more too. The girl asks, what's going on? Sue says, life is everywhere. We can learn something from everywhere. The girl says, like what? Sue says, like, throw out old thoughts and bring in new ones. The girl says, what new things? Sue says, I meant new thoughts. Like, yesterday, you were going to use the stick with such strength. Were you planning to cut his neck? The girl says, no, I wasn't going to do that. Then we see her showing her hand, saying, I already measured my strength, so I knew how much power to use. Sue says, oh, good. She shows full power. Then Sue says, no one should hit that hard. You should hit according to the situation. The girl says, then how should we hit someone? How can we hit a person? Sue says, it depends on the situation. It depends on why you want to hit that person. The girl says, okay, suppose you're peeking into my room in the middle of the night, then how much strength should I use? Now she says that, and poor Sue is shocked and in disbelief. He says, that scenario is impossible. Don't choose that one, choose something else. Do I seem like that kind of person to you? The girl says, yeah, totally. Sue says, look, I'm not that kind of person. I'm a very kind type of person, okay? I'm a very good person, etc. Then the nearby girls say, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he acting like this? Sue says, understand? I'm a very good person. The girl says, okay, I'll believe you this time. The guy says, what do you mean by this time? What kind of weird questions do you even think of? Why would I sneak into your room at midnight? The girl says, you're the one who told me before that you might come into my room at midnight. The guy says, oh, you crazy person, I said that because I was afraid you'd run away. It was just a joke. Anyway, you know how weak I am. Didn't you see? I could fall with just one punch from you. That's what he says to the girl. And the girl doesn't say anything after that. Then Sue is saying, what if it actually happens? Now the girl is saying, then I'll punch you. She tightly shows her fist. Sue starts thinking, does this girl really want to kill me? He's saying that and we see he's shocked. While walking, he reaches near a shop and says, look, we're here now. We've arrived. They've reached the place to eat. He tells the shopkeeper, give us 2 portions. The shopkeeper says, okay. Now we see he sits down on a bench and says again, giving some wisdom, look, you should enjoy your life here. Live your life and remember that day. The girl starts remembering that day, and as soon as he says it, she starts recalling what happened long ago, how her hands used to be soaked in blood. Then we see their food arrives. The man brings it and the girl says, thank you. Now we see the food is so dangerously delicious. Actually, it's momos. She says, wow, how tasty. Sue is just watching her. He thinks to himself, eating food with a girl from ancient times is so much fun. Then she asks him, are you still hungry? Sue asks her. The girl replies, yes, of course, I'm still hungry. Sue says, then go and ask for more. He adds, You ask, I'll go pay the bill. Then the girl asks, are these expensive? 𝙒𝙬 says, no, not really. Breakfast is cheap. You can order, it's no big deal. 𝙒𝙬 starts thinking again, it's starting to feel like a boyfriend-girlfriend thing. He's getting that kind of feeling. Then he says, let me give her some good life experiences. While he's thinking that, the girl comes up to the shop and says, hello, I want to order at least 15 buns. The shopkeeper, coughing, says, okay. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 shocked and saying, so much food? Can you really finish it? The girl says, oh, this much? No worries, I'll eat it all. Then she asks in a weird, cute voice, did I order too much? 𝙒𝙬 says, look, it's a lot, but let's say we're rich, but that doesn't mean we'll eat this much food. And besides, it's outside food. Outside food is not good for health. The girl says, no problem, when I start earning, I'll pay you back. The guy says, okay, no worries, just do it then. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 saying, boss, bill please. The shopkeeper says, come again. We see 𝙒𝙬 packs all the leftover food. The girl is staring at him, and he's also staring sideways. Then he says again, I'll give you lots of new experiences. He says this while the girl starts looking at him. Then he points to a place and says, look, this place, here you can eat as much as you want. You only need to pay once. The girl is surprised and says, we can eat that much? She starts saying that. Then the guy explains to her, yeah, but it's not something special to know. It's not a big deal for me or for anyone else. Meanwhile, he takes something out and they continue enjoying their life, going out together like a couple. Then it's shown that 2 days have passed. After 2 days, he says, look, I brought a new phone for you. Here's a gift for you. He says, now you can call me with this and do many other things. The girl looks surprised and asks, is this for me? Is it expensive? She asks, is this really expensive? 𝙒𝙬 says, no, I just got it as a gift. It's not that costly, I got it from a lottery. He's lying, but who knows why. He gives it to her and the girl says, wow, it's amazing. Then she says, many thanks, young hero. Again, the same old dialogue. The guy shyly says, oh no, it's nothing really. Then he says, follow the instructions of this and just look. He thinks to himself, mission completed. Then it's shown that her contact is saved under the name, many thanks, young hero. It's even written on the side. Then he says, why is it so weird? Then 𝙒𝙬 says, look, follow the instructions and complete it. Alright, 𝙒𝙬 says, look, you have your dinner. I'm going somewhere, I'm going to my mom and dad's house and it'll take some time. So just have your dinner and don't wait for me. Then 𝙒𝙬 starts telling the girl, if you get bored, you can play games on the computer or play games on the phone, or you can watch lots of videos and check out your phone. Now the girl was saying, so many characters, are these even useful? Then we are shown 𝙒𝙬 saying, look, I've kept the food on the table for you. Just check it out. And yes, stay safe and there's no need to wander around. Stay home and enjoy. Then we're shown he leaves his apartment and gets in his car and starts going, thinking, I'm going home after so many days. And then we're shown he reaches home and says, Mom, I've come back home. But we see there's no one in the house. His dad is there who says, Kiddo, you've come home. Now he asks, Dad, where's Mom? He is asking about his mom, but his dad says, she's busy playing games, she's still out. 𝙒𝙬 says, so late? Aren't you hungry? He says this to his dad. Now his dad says, why don't you call your mom and ask her? 1 minute, how are you alone? Where's your girlfriend? Now 𝙒𝙬, irritated, says, what girlfriend? She's just my friend, okay? Not a girlfriend. Then his dad says, look, I'm not that dumb. Admit it, you let a random girl stay in your house. If it had been a guy instead of a girl, would you have let him stay? 𝙒𝙬 then goes into deep thoughts and says, a guy in a girl's form. He starts thinking like that and then says, come out of your dreams, okay? I'm calling Mom. He starts to say this and then thinks, man, whenever Mom starts playing games, she forgets she has other things to do. Then we are shown a scene after a while. His dad is reading a book and 𝙒𝙬 is stuck on his phone. 𝙒𝙬 says, look Dad, "A thief came today and I need money to repair the window." His dad says, "A thief came?" Sue says, "Yes, a thief came." His dad says, "He didn't steal anything, right?" Sue says, No, my computer is safe." His dad says, "What? Do you sleep with your computer? Hugging it while sleeping?" He asks with a teasing look, "Man, such dads should be everywhere." Then he asks, "Did you get hurt?" Sue says, "Yeah, she got a little hurt." Then his dad says, "I'm not talking about her, I'm asking if you got hurt." Sue says, "Oh please, me getting hurt? What do I even say? Such a funny dad, seriously." Then we see his mom arrives and says, "Oh son, when did you come?" Sue says, "Mom, I told you, I even messaged you." Then Sue's mom says, "Oh, my memory is getting so weak, I forgot, son." Now we see that Auntie, his mom, is bringing in vegetables while singing, totally in her own fun mood. Then Sue says, "I think Mom must have won the game." We're shown the auntie cutting vegetables while his dad again starts teasing, "Where's your girlfriend?" Sue says, "Look, I already told you she's not my girlfriend. Stop saying such nonsense." His dad says, "I'm talking nonsense? You think normal friends cook together, wash clothes together, roam around together?" Now his mom hears this and says, "They even live together? Why didn't you tell me?" Then his dad says, "I thought he would tell us, I was just waiting for him." Then we are shown they are all at the dining table now. The auntie comes and sits and says, "Come on, show me her photo, show me that girl's photo." And we realize both of them already knew and were just waiting for their son to say it. Now Sue says, "Okay, should I tell you? She has 2 eyes and 1 mouth." His mom gets annoyed and says, "Stop the drama and show the photo already." Then Sue says, "You won't calm down until I show you, right? 'Kay, look, this is her." Then he shows her cute photo. The auntie says, "Wow, she's so pretty." Then he says, "She's not my girlfriend, okay?" Then she says, "Wow, she's so pretty. Wait a minute, let me see her up close." And in this excuse, she starts checking out more photos and says, "Wow, this one's from the bridge. You went to the bridge too." Then she sees another photo and says, "You have so many of her photos on your phone. She looks so adorable from this angle." Sue says, "Mom, why are you looking at so many photos? Don't snoop around." Now the auntie says, "Why are there so many photos of her on your phone?" Then Sue says, "You've seen it now, right? I just had to show the photo, that's it." Now he gets irritated and says, "Where have I gotten stuck? I only took these photos for observation purposes." And with that, this episode ends. If you like this episode, then please like, subscribe, and do show some love to my channel. So, my subs, how are you all doing? Welcome, everyone. In the beginning of the episode of Manhwa Summers, we see that our main character's mom is asking if that girl is really very beautiful and 18 years old, right? Then she asks where she's studying. Now Sue responds, saying, "Mom, she's not studying anywhere." To this, Mom says, "She's not studying anywhere? Then how can she be so beautiful?" Sue replies, "Mom, what kind of logic is that? If she doesn't study, does that mean she can't be beautiful? What does studying have to do with beauty anyway? Also, her parents' condition isn't good, that's why she isn't studying. Simple." Uncle says, "I think she's probably a topper, and that's why you're not letting her study." Then Sue says, "She stays home all day, just stays on the computer, doesn't even do a job." "Oh yeah, even you guys used to taunt me like this too, right?" Auntie then says, "Tell me, when did you even meet her? Is she from the war zone?" Sue says, No, you guys just eat and drink. I'm going bye-bye." Then he starts leaving and says, "Okay, I'm leaving. You guys take care at night. And Mom, don't play too much mahjong and all. Dad stays hungry." Mom says, "What does staying hungry have to do with anything? You don't go out. I barely even play." Then she says, "Oh yeah, listen. You know, we heard that around that apartment, a ghost was seen. Did you hear that story? Was it a female ghost? We even heard crying sounds." Sue says, "Yes, I heard too. Don't worry." Then he says, "You should reduce the rent." Mom says, "What? Seriously? 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, you should reduce the rent. A ghost was seen there. They start talking nonsense and 𝙒𝙬 says, what does nonsense have to do with it? You know, even a priest came there to do rituals. That's why I'm saying you should lower the rent. Auntie says, forget the rent. He's living with a girl, right? Shouldn't her rent go up too? Uncle says, didn't he say she's not his girlfriend, just a friend? 𝙒𝙬 says, yes, just a friend. How many times do I have to tell you? He starts shouting a little and says, she's just my best friend. The scene shifts. It's nighttime. We see that the girl is standing with a sword. The door opens, 𝙒𝙬 enters. He says, hey, I'm back. Why are you holding your sword? Were you practicing swordplay? 𝙒𝙬 asks this question, but the girl doesn't say anything. She's very scared because she's seen a ghost. She says, okay, I'm going to take a shower. She grabs her clothes quickly and leaves so fast that 𝙒𝙬 is left staring in confusion. He asks, why are you taking your sword with you? She says, I just want to take it. 𝙒𝙬 asks, did something happen while I was gone? The girl clearly denies it, saying, no, nothing happened. 𝙒𝙬, confused, says, so are you plotting something against me? Planning to stab me with that sword? She denies it and says, you're a very nice person. As she says this, the door shuts. 𝙒𝙬 can't understand what's going on and says, what happened to this girl? When I left, her body looked fine. Now it's changed. He sits on the sofa and starts thinking. Then he blushes and starts imagining. He thinks, she's bathing now. Wait, how would she be bathing? She might be completely naked. No, I'm a good guy. I'm a young hero. I'm an honest hero. I'm a very good person. He keeps thinking of all the compliments she gave him. Then he suddenly notices, oh shit. I left my laptop on. I forgot to turn it off. The laptop's light is still on. He says, oh shit, I totally forgot. I even had to edit a video. Then the girl comes out. Pay attention here. She looks so pretty that I can't even describe it. When 𝙒𝙬 sees her, he just stares. Look closely at her eyes. When I first explained this, I found her so beautiful that I sent her photo to my friend in college. I told him, if you ever see a girl like this, let me know. You know what my friend replied? He said, you want a girl with red eyes? Seriously, after hearing that answer, I was shaken. Anyway, 𝙒𝙬 then asks, does practicing martial arts make you beautiful? The girl doesn't understand. 𝙒𝙬 says, so tell me, how are you so beautiful? Do you have a special technique? He keeps talking like that. The girl says, I want to teach you, but you don't want to learn. 𝙒𝙬 says, that's such a basic thing. Oh, I'll have to learn then. Then 𝙒𝙬 says, wait, you can teach classes and earn money too? No, wait, what did I just say? There are a lot of guys here. They might start hitting on her. They're pretty shameless. He keeps thinking this. Meanwhile, the girl quickly plugs in a hairdryer and turns it on. 𝙒𝙬 doesn't understand what's happening. Then the girl asks, did the priest catch the ghost? 𝙒𝙬 replies, there's no such thing as ghosts, okay? Priests just make up stories. And if there were ghosts, you'd be the first target. The girl says, I'm a human, not a ghost. 𝙒𝙬 says, let me use the hairdryer for you. You might not be able to use it properly. 𝙒𝙬 asks for the hairdryer. The girl asks, you want this? She looks at it for a moment and then hands it to him, saying, here, take it. And 𝙒𝙬 starts using the hairdryer. So, that girl actually says something. She asks, tell me something, why don't people from this era practice martial arts? Now the girl is asking this question, and 𝙒𝙬 replies, oh, it's a simple thing. The lifestyle of people these days has changed. They're not like the old generation. Now they just want enjoyment and such. Now we see that 𝙒𝙬 is saying all this, explaining that their lives have become very easy and peaceful. People live in peace now, not by fighting. He says everyone just wants to enjoy themselves. Along with this, these two start talking about some random things that are honestly beyond my understanding. Anyway, we're not supposed to understand everything. Just then, we see the girl shouting, saying, I saw a ghost. I saw a ghost. 𝙒𝙬 says, oh come on, that's not possible. Maybe you misunderstood. There's nothing like that. Now 𝙒𝙬 keeps on talking, saying that ghosts don't even exist. The girl insists, I saw it. I saw the ghost. She says, when you had gone out, that's when I saw the ghost. As soon as she says that, Sue gets shocked too. Even Sue starts panicking, but he doesn't say much. Then we see Sue thinking to himself, maybe it was that neighbor auntie wearing a face mask or something. So he asks, what did the ghost look like? The girl answers immediately, saying, its hair was very long, longer than mine. She says that, then moves all her hair to the side and says, it looked like this. As soon as she says that, Sue is completely freaked out. He says, you scared me so badly. Alright, what else did you see? Then the girl says, oh yes, its face was completely white, whiter than a bun. Sue stops her, saying, oh, that's enough. That's too much. She was scaring him a lot, and this guy was feeling such a horrible kind of fear. He was totally panicking. He says, there's no ghost here, right? But what if there really is one? How is that possible? Look, ghosts aren't real, there's no scientific proof or anything, so don't overthink it. Gradually, Sue tells the girl, ghosts don't even exist. Maybe you were just a bit stressed, and that's why you imagined something. The girl replies, yeah, maybe, but in my time, ghosts were very scary. Sue says, even in this time, ghosts are scary, but they don't exist, so stop overthinking. Sue says, don't think too much about this. Just go and sleep peacefully, okay? The girl says again, but I really saw it. As she keeps insisting, Sue asks, alright, maybe you did. But even I don't know if your sword would be able to defeat it or not. Sue says, okay, just stop thinking too much. You're making it sound so real now, even I'm starting to get scared. That's what Sue starts thinking. Then he focuses carefully. No one knows what exactly happens to him, but he drifts into deep thought. After a while, he says, okay, let's do one thing. We'll go to Uncle and borrow his sword. As soon as he says this, the girl hears him and says, okay, young hero. Many thanks, young hero. We see her thanking him and Sue says, you don't have to be so polite. Just go and sleep. I'm going to sleep too. As he says this, he starts leaving. Then we see the girl say, okay. Sue quickly pulls out the hairdryer. And then, super quickly, he bathes and comes out so fast I can't even describe it. He must have just poured water and come out immediately. Then he starts thinking again, saying, come on, ghosts don't exist. How can it be true? But if it is true then, I don't know why I'm getting goosebumps. What's happening to me? I won't even be able to sleep like this. Then he remembers, what about video editing? As soon as he quickly opens his window and looks, he says, what's this? The scene shifts. We see the girl peacefully sleeping with her sword and thinking, this outfit was given to me by the young hero. It's really nice. Now we see that the girl starts thinking about him a lot. Then she remembers, yes, there were really beautiful dresses there, because of which that guy got me this one. Our young hero got her the dress, and that's why the girl is now impressed with him. Still, it's not clear when the patch-up between the two will happen. I don't know. We see the girl looking at the dress and feeling it, saying, wow, what a beautiful dress. When I used to live in the village, I didn't have even one dress. Now we see the girl thinking about her village. She gets so emotional that I can't even describe it. There was a guy, he was a chief. He used to say, you have to learn martial arts. If there's pain, don't fear it. You have to be powerful. She starts thinking about all the people from her childhood who supported her. She gets very emotional. Then we see someone say, your clothes are torn, but it's okay. We'll fix them. She keeps thinking about all this and gets overwhelmed, almost to the point of crying. Just then, there's a knock at the door. It turns out Sue is at the door. The girl gets confused and says, what happened? Then we see Sue asking, was this what your ghost looked like? Turns out, this girl actually saw the ghost in the video window. This girl is saying, yes, this is the one, this is it. And just as she's about to take out her sword and all, we see Sue saying, yes, I already knew it. Just stop. I simply forgot to close the window, like shut it down. I added the video to my history, man, what could I do? Anyway, he says, I'll explain everything to you tomorrow, okay? So don't think too much about it. He quickly shuts his laptop, and after shutting it down, says, look carefully, I've sealed your ghost, alright? So don't think too much. Now Sue is doing all this, and the girl is saying, many thanks, young hero. She starts saying the same thing again and says, okay. And with that, we see the scene shift, and it's already morning. Seriously man, if something like this happened to us, it would be fun, day and night in the blink of an eye. Anyway, we see the girl waking up from sleep and she's looking so cute that I can't even describe it. And we see the sword still in her hand, always with her, I mean always. Then the door opens quickly. The girl thinks maybe our young hero is also awake. Thinking this, she starts practicing her sword, like doing sword practice. Meanwhile, we see 𝙒𝙬 waking up somehow, still sleepy. And she's feeding food to her cat. Then a guy comes in and says, "Good morning." And then he's doing something, I don't even know what to say, maybe went to break down a wall or something. After a while, we see 𝙒𝙬 thinking, saying, "Everything seems fine. This girl is gradually becoming mature." Then he looks carefully and says, "Wow, even in this kind of area, there used to be girls like this." He starts thinking all this and says, "I just need to think about what her chief used to look like." He goes to wash his face and asks, "Tell me, what did your chief look like? Did he have a big beard?" The girl replies, "Yeah, he was even bigger than you. He had a very big beard. You don't even have a beard." The guy says, "No beard? That means he must be that bearded guy then." The girl says, "Why don't you have a beard?" 𝙒𝙬 says, "How can I have a beard? Tell me. I'm a school student. Students don't grow beards." He says this laughing. Then the girl says, "But even guys from our time had beards. So explain." He says, "Let me tell you, we have razors. We shave daily, okay? That's why we don't have beards. Got it?" Now 𝙒𝙬 is explaining to her and says, "Okay, get ready. We're going to have breakfast." The girl says, "Okay." Then she says, "Oh yeah, I remembered. The phone you gave me, it's broken. I don't know, it's not responding." She says all this, thinking the phone is broken. She tells him, "Look, the phone is broken. Get it repaired, okay? Even if it's expensive, no problem. I'll pay you back later." 𝙒𝙬 says, "I know, the battery must be dead. Don't worry, I'll charge it with a power bank, okay?" The girl thinks, so it's not broken? Anyway, we see they both come out of the house, heading out to eat peacefully. The guy charges the phone with a power bank. The girl also says, "What money? What kind of money?" She's confused. 𝙒𝙬 says, "Look carefully, this is WeChat, okay? It's a wallet, WeChat wallet. Right now, it has yuan. I'm sending you 100 yuan. Just send it back later, okay?" The guy sends 100 yuan. "Bro, send me paid him instead." Anyway, the girl says, Okay, I received it. Press to confirm. Okay, the money is inside. 𝙒𝙬 says, "Yeah, just think of it as a loan. When you have the money, pay me back later, okay?" 𝙒𝙬 says this and the girl says, "Okay." Then she thinks, now I can even borrow money from him. Anyway, the girl looks even better in a suit. That's enough. 𝙒𝙬 is getting compliments from her. She says, "Many thanks, young hero." She keeps saying this. Then we see the scene shift. A guy appears, singing a song, coming on a scooter. Then we see an uncle, we don't know who he is. No idea. Then the guy arrives and says, "Dad, I'm back. I came straight home. Is there anything to eat? I'm hungry." The uncle says, "Yeah, there must be something inside. Go eat." Then the guy quickly picks up his stuff. The uncle asks, "So, tell me, how many thieves did you catch last night?" The guy replies, "Thieves? Thieves? Where are thieves these days? Everyone's living peacefully. Thieves have no business. Better to be a beggar, at least that earns some money." The uncle says, "What nonsense. You know 𝙒𝙬𝙤 isn't even a police officer, and still he caught a thief." The guy is shocked and says, "What? When did this happen?" He asks the uncle. The uncle says, "It's been a few days. I heard it from 𝙒𝙬. 𝙒𝙬 said that 𝙒𝙬𝙤 caught a thief." The guy says, "What? He caught a thief and didn't tell me? I'll scold him. I'll yell at him." Now we see, maybe this guy is his friend. Anyway, he says, his friend didn't even tell me he caught a thief. Huh, didn't I teach him discipline? The uncle says, "Stop yelling, okay? The thief is already gone. And you know what? He already has a girlfriend." The guy says, "He has a girlfriend? Of course he would, he's taller than me and looks better too. So why wouldn't he have one?" The uncle stares at him. The guy says, "He has a girlfriend?" The uncle says, "Yes, you know he looks better than you, is taller than you, and has a girlfriend. When will you get a girlfriend?" The guy says, "Me? What's the hurry? I have a job, don't I? So what's the rush?" The guy is talking about his job. The uncle says, "You should know your age by now. Look, he has a girlfriend. You don't have anyone." The guy says, Yeah, yeah, I'll catch a thief, and then I'll get a girlfriend. Don't worry. The uncle says, when will you catch a thief? The guy says, a thief? I'll catch one. What's the big deal? Anyway, he says, don't worry, it doesn't matter. Once I become a good detective, girls will line up for me. All girls will go crazy after me. The uncle says, yeah, right. I feel like you won't be able to do anything. You won't even be able to get a girlfriend. The guy says, are you trying to put me down? Seriously, man, if I had parents like this, I swear I'd have a line of girls. And here, this guy can't even get one girl. Believe it or not, I'm telling you, I'll make that girl fall for me someday. Anyway, the uncle says, enough. Leave it. The guy says, okay, now that you've said it. You always said a man should choose his career, right? I said it right, didn't I? The uncle gets angry and says, you're talking nonsense. Get out of here. He throws his slippers out. Now, what can I say about what's happening here? Never mind. Then the guy comes out, somehow chewing on flatbread, saying, okay, everyone has a dream to fill their stomach. That's it. That's what every guy dreams of. Scene shifts again. We see the guy talking, saying, hello, why did you call? Is there a party tonight? Oh, who all are coming? Okay, I'm hanging up now. We hear all this. The guy seems disappointed. Then we see him say, okay, I'm going to do my duty, but first I need to sleep. Dad, wake me at 4 o'clock. Now we find out that the uncle is actually his dad. Scene shifts. We see the guy saying, where is the meeting? Where should I go? Then we see all his friends planning a birthday party and saying everyone must attend. Sue says, okay, then I'll come too. It's outing time, right? Okay, when are we coming? At night? Okay. Then Sue says, I have a girl with me. We see the girl eating momos. Sue says, listen, we have to go to a party tonight, so get ready. The girl asks, party? When and what time? Sue says, tonight. Don't overthink it. We're just going to experience it. Sue says, just follow me, okay? Whatever I tell you. Don't overthink. He quickly picks up his cat and starts playing around with it. The girl is saying, all right, and what about the ghost? Were all those things fake? Tell me, what kind of ghost was that? Now tell me what's really going on here. Actually, they had gone to watch a movie, which the girl didn't understand at all. The guy is saying, oh, it was nothing, it was just a thriller movie, nothing more. The girl says, I don't even know, I didn't understand what was going on in the movie. Anyway, then we see Sue giving her a can of Coke and says, here, this is your reward for giving a good answer. Sue says that, and the Coke can comes into the girl's hand. She looks at it carefully and says, oh, what's this? Then she says, all right, you're taking me with you, but you won't be able to earn money, right? Then why are you taking me? Are you doing it for your psychological needs? Now Sue coughs a bit and says, yeah, think of it like that. Actually, he said it for his own benefit, because who goes to the movies alone? You need to take someone, and instead of taking a friend, why not take a girl? Obviously, that's what the guy was saying, and he gave it a name, psychological need. Sue says, to be very honest, I liked you, so I wanted to go with you, that's why I took you. Now we see the girl still doesn't understand much. She says, thank you so much, young hero, or whatever. Then she opens the Coke can, and suddenly, it starts spraying everywhere. There's a lot of pressure, and it all sprays upward. Sue says, here, use this tissue paper. With this, the scene shifts. It's evening now. They come to a party. After a little while, Sue reaches the bar where they were supposed to go. Sue says, wow, we've arrived. Look, we've come to KTV, that was the name of the bar. We see both of them have arrived. The girl says, is this the place? She still doesn't understand anything. Sue says, yeah, this is the place, come, I'll take you. Our main goal is to experience it, right? The girl also says, yeah, okay. Sue explains, you know who's treating this party? A rich guy. So eat as much as you can. So the girl somehow quietly enters. Then we see there's a lot of noise, loud sounds are coming from everywhere. The girl covers her ears. Sue says, here, we're inside now. The door opens and the guy enters. We see a lot of people have already arrived, all his school friends are there. The guy says, oh, you've come. This guy's name is Wang. He's the one treating the party and sponsoring everything. We see Sue looking around carefully and says, so many people have come. It turns out everyone's there, playing games and having fun. Sue says, hey, you guys started without me? They reply, so what? We were bored, so we thought, why not start? Come on, help me out, okay? With singing and all. That guy says this and 𝙒𝙬 comes and sits. The girl has no idea what's going on. There are all kinds of colorful lights and music is playing. The girl doesn't understand anything, so she just sits there quietly with her mouth shut. She looks really depressed because she doesn't know what to do. Then the guy comes to her and says, if you're hungry, you can eat this. Crack it open and eat it. It'll increase your strength. He's breaking peanuts and giving them to her. The girl says, I can't hear anything you're saying because the sound is too loud here. 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, the sound is loud. Listen, I'm saying these are peanuts. Crack them and eat them. Try it. 𝙒𝙬 says this, and the girl looks carefully at the peanuts and says, like this? She cracks it open. It's not clear whether it's a peanut or almond. 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, I know, this has been around for a long time, maybe even in your era. The girl says, I don't know. 𝙒𝙬 says, it's tasty, try it. She finally eats it, then says, yeah, it's really good. Really delicious. 𝙒𝙬 laughs and says, yeah, if you like it, you can eat more. Then he looks around and says, the party environment is kind of pervy, I don't know what to say. Then he calls out to Wang Ji and says, let's drink. He calls his friend, who says, I asked him to sing, and this jerk came to drink. Anyway, the girl next to them, it's actually her birthday today. We see both 𝙒𝙬 and Wang pick up a bottle of alcohol and start drinking. This 19-year-old kid is already drinking. The girl also watches 𝙒𝙬 carefully and says, I want to drink too. 𝙒𝙬 is like, what? You want to drink? No, you can't drink. Girls should protect themselves, okay? Alcohol isn't good for them. 𝙒𝙬 tries to manipulate her. The girl says, no, I want to drink. Just one sip. I want to. She insists, saying, I'll be fine, don't worry, I won't get drunk. 𝙒𝙬 tries to convince her otherwise, but the girl keeps requesting, please, just one sip. Now, after making such an innocent face, who could say no to her? So finally 𝙒𝙬 agrees and says, all right, just one sip. The girl tries it. After taking a sip, 𝙒𝙬 asks, so, how was it? The girl says, it's not good at all. Not good. 𝙒𝙬 says, what did you say? I couldn't hear you. The girl says again, I said it's not good at all. While they're talking, Wang Ji at the back thinks they're kissing or something. He says, hey, you two can't do that openly. 𝙒𝙬 says, shut up, we're not doing anything like that. Stop talking nonsense and go sing your song. Wang leaves his girlfriend and comes over, asking 𝙒𝙬, tell me something, is this girl your girlfriend? He asks curiously. 𝙒𝙬 replies, no, she's not my girlfriend. Wang Ji says, if she's not your girlfriend, then why didn't you introduce her? Now the girl is also paying close attention to what they're talking about. Then 𝙒𝙬 says, she's my friend, her name is Zhang, and she came from a village. Wang says, oh really? Then 𝙒𝙬 tells the girl, this is my friend Wang Ji and he's really rich, he's got a lot of money. The girl goes, oh. Wang says, oh come on, if you two are just friends, then I should also be her friend. 𝙒𝙬 says, hey, what nonsense are you talking? Shut your mouth. Wang Ji says, what? Am I lacking in something? 𝙒𝙬 says, of course you are. Are you as tall as me? Are you as handsome as me? What kind of person are you? What do you even have? Wang says, I have money. Money. Now 𝙒𝙬 is left speechless and says, fine man. You don't want to sing. But we see that the girl is still busy cracking peanuts. 𝙒𝙬 asks, are you hungry? The girl says, yeah, I'm hungry. 𝙒𝙬 says, look, we can't really throw a party right now because most of the people we invited didn't show up. Very few came. He adds, ugh, you don't know how busy I am. Then the scene shifts. Everyone is singing and enjoying themselves. The girl says, why are there so many people here? Now that girl is asking 𝙒𝙬 this question and saying that there's a lot of noise here, and we see 𝙒𝙬 replying, yeah, just think of it as a party going on. And then he also says that it's nothing unusual, just a celebration happening here. That guy's girlfriend has her birthday today, so he's invited a lot of people to the party. The party hasn't started yet because not everyone has arrived. Meanwhile, we see that she's munching on peanuts. 𝙒𝙬 says, hey, why are you eating so many peanuts? What's going on with you? Then he says, come on, give them to me. I'll help you break them. But then we see that she picks up all the peanuts and starts cracking and giving them to him, and 𝙒𝙬 is eating them too. Then he asks, can you sing? Or have you ever sung before? The girl says, I have no clue, I don't think I've ever sung before. 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, I've never seen you sing either or even made you sing. Then he says, no worries, you sing this time, okay? Look at our young hero. Later, I'll sing and then you too. Suddenly, a new guy enters and he looks really weird. I don't know why, but this guy had some different vibe. Seriously, I'm telling you, as soon as he comes in, we see our 𝙒𝙬 also watching him carefully, and the guy is watching him too, but he doesn't say anything and just walks away quietly. Maybe these two had some argument in the past. Then 𝙒𝙬 says, what is this guy doing here? Now that girl is just calmly cracking peanuts, and she's cracked so many and kept them down that I can't even explain. 𝙒𝙬 says, are you really that hungry? The girl says, yeah, a little bit. 𝙒𝙬 says, okay, just wait a bit. Everyone's almost here. The party is about to start. A huge cake is coming soon. The girl says, a huge cake? She's surprised because before meeting 𝙒𝙬, she never really got to eat or drink properly. She didn't even know how to eat, and no one helped her back then. Then we see that guy grabs the mic and says, come on, let's sing. Yeah, I'll sing just one song. 𝙒𝙬 says this and then he quickly picks up the mic. As soon as he does, the girl also looks at the mic closely and says, what is this thing? And as soon as she says that in front of the mic loudly amplifies her voice. Hearing that loud sound, the girl gets scared and says, what was that? I got scared. 𝙒𝙬 says, don't be afraid. It's nothing. It's just a microphone. I'll explain it to you later. 𝙒𝙬 says that and the girl replies, okay. 𝙒𝙬 thinks to himself, I should have explained this to her earlier. Public announcements are made with this, and I don't want any trouble for her. Then he looks at her carefully and thinks, I don't know why, but I feel like pulling her cheeks. But he controls himself, yet his hand still moves towards her cheek. As he's moving his hand, the girl notices, and 𝙒𝙬 quickly puts his hand down and thinks, no problem, next time I'll pull her cheeks. For now, let's just manage like this. Then the singing starts. People are singing, but the girl doesn't understand anything. Then that guy says, looks like everyone I invited is here. Let's start the party. And with that, a giant cake makes its entrance. Seriously, I've never seen such a huge cake before. Maybe in videos, yes. The guy says, thank you so much for coming to the party. Today's my girlfriend's birthday, and I'm celebrating it here. Here's my girlfriend, but when he looks beside him, he realizes the girl isn't there. He says, where did my girlfriend go? Another girl says, I think she went outside, not sure where exactly. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 laughing and saying, look at this guy, came to celebrate his girlfriend's birthday, and the girlfriend is missing. Maybe she ran away with someone. Then that guy comes outside saying, she's not here either. Where did she go? He says, oh well, I have no idea. The party is getting delayed. No worries, we'll party when she returns. For now, take this back. And with that, 𝙒𝙬 asks, so tell me, how long has it been since you and your girlfriend have been together? The guy says, 1 or 2 months. 𝙒𝙬 says, oh wow, that's a long time. I think you two should break up. The guy says, what nonsense are you talking? I truly love her. It's real love between us. The girl is also listening to all this and says, real love? What is this? Then she asks, does girlfriend mean wife? 𝙒𝙬 says, no. Girlfriend doesn't mean wife. In his case, it might mean he's looking for a future wife. Then he laughs and traps his friend. The friend says, you jerk, what are you talking about? 𝙒𝙬 laughs and says, I'm just telling the truth, right? Then we see that guy thinking too and says, anyway, I'll have to find a wife for myself too. Then the girl asks 𝙒𝙬, what about you? What are your thoughts? 𝙒𝙬 says, my thoughts? Having a girlfriend means doing a lot of things together. The guy couldn't figure out what to say but somehow manages to say, for example, we can do cosplay together or sing songs together. His friend laughs and says, you know what you really want to do, right? His friend laughs too and then says, are you two really friends? I have doubts about you both. 𝙒𝙬 says, yes, we are friends. And even if we aren't, so what? Don't worry. He says, we've talked too much, let's have a drink. Then both start drinking. That guy says, it's been a long time. Let me go find my girlfriend and bring her back. We'll talk later. 𝙒𝙬 also says, okay, bye-bye, Tada. And that guy also says, let's go too. As they're leaving, a voice comes from behind. Hey bro, what happened to you? You've changed after getting a girlfriend. As soon as 𝙒𝙬 hears that, he says, mind your own business, okay? That guy, the same one who had come a little earlier, Says, what do you mean mind your business? I just want to know how you got such a beautiful girl. Where did you find such a girl? I've never seen a girl like her. Tell me, why didn't I get a girl like her? Why not me? Su replies, because you're very ugly, that's why. Now things get a bit heated here, and that guy says, all right then, let me make a toast for you, here you go. He starts giving a toast. But we see that our Su clearly refuses. He's saying, no, I don't want to do any toast or anything with you. Get out of here. Just look at your face. I absolutely don't want to toast with you. Now the guy has completely refused. Here we see that guy saying, oh really? Just take a look at yourself. Now the other guy, whose girlfriend's birthday it is, he shows up saying, oh shit, I invited both 𝙒𝙤𝙤 and 𝙒𝙬𝙤. These two never got along, they've even fought before. What's going to happen now? As soon as he arrives, we see 𝙒𝙤𝙤 glaring at that guy. It seems like a fight is about to break out between the two. Anyway, the birthday guy, meaning the one whose girlfriend's birthday it is, says, what are you two arguing about now? He tries to calm them down. 𝙒𝙤𝙤 says, look, I'm not trying to provoke anyone, okay? I was just trying to make a toast with him. But he just refused to toast. What can I do? Now Su is staring at him intensely, and this guy starts sweating. Su says, I haven't even started yet, why would I start with you? I'm not that desperate. Come on, what are you people even doing? 𝙒𝙤𝙤 says, oh really? That's how it is. Then these two start arguing, like a real heated argument, over who's more powerful or something, I don't even know. They just keep going back and forth while everyone else is watching like, what's going on here? 𝙒𝙬𝙤 is also staring hard. Meanwhile, the girl, Jian, is watching too. She says, looks like they're about to fight. This'll be fun. All the girls around are also watching, saying things like, wow, a fight is going to happen. Or maybe they're scared. Then the birthday guy asks, hey, when did you two fight? When did that even happen? He's just asking casually. Then he says, tell me exactly what happened. What's the situation? Are you two fighting like kids? Why are you acting like children? He tries to explain things to them. 𝙒𝙤𝙤 says, come on man. I'm not fighting like a child. I just offered a toast and he refused. How does it look if I'm making a toast and he's ignoring me? Su again says no. He's like, I don't want to. Then 𝙒𝙤𝙤 says, fine then. Should I toast with the sister-in-law? Sister-in-law, will you toast with me? Come on now, you're very beautiful anyway. As soon as he says this, Su says, she's not your sister-in-law. She's not your sister-in-law. Then the girl also says, yeah, he's right. I'm not your sister-in-law. Su says, and make sure you don't talk to that guy. He's a really bad guy. Now these two start talking. But suddenly, the birthday guy interrupts and says, hey, stop. Everyone just calm down. What are you all doing fighting like this? Then he takes 𝙒𝙤𝙤 away, saying, hey, 𝙒𝙤𝙤, come on. Move to the side, sit over there. Now the guy named Wang quietly sits next to 𝙒𝙬𝙤 and asks, tell me, when did you two fight? 𝙒𝙬𝙤 says, it happened a long time ago. He doesn't say much more. He just starts explaining how the fight happened a long time ago. Then the girl asks, why was he calling me sister-in-law? She's asking this while eating watermelon. Su says, because he's ugly. Ugly, okay? That's why you shouldn't pay attention to what he says. He adds, just look carefully. I look more handsome than him, don't I? I look more handsome, right? Now this guy is full-on praising himself. The girl also agrees, yes, you are more handsome than him. Now Su says, so you really think I'm that good? Tell me. As he moves closer to her while saying this, the girl gets confused. Then Su says, people are right. We're made for each other. We're perfect for each other. He's just daydreaming now, I don't even know what he's complimenting himself on. As he keeps talking, Wang says, hey wait, what are you saying? 1 minute, you two aren't a couple? We all thought you guys were a couple. As soon as he says that, Su says, have you lost your mind? Are you even using your brain? Why are people talking to us like we're a couple or that we should get married? Su continues, just look at this guy. He's such a donkey, a complete donkey. Don't ever believe what he says. He's just trying to make you his girlfriend. Wang says, hey, it's nothing like that. I already have a girlfriend. Look, she's right there. My girlfriend just arrived. Su says, where? Wang replies, there outside. She just came in. Now we see his girlfriend actually show up. As soon as she arrives, the guy makes an announcement saying, okay, Everyone get ready. Let's bring out the cake. Now we see a huge cake appear. Just look at the cake carefully. Seriously, 1 floor, 2 floors, 3, 4, I think it's a 4-layer cake. Well, my birthday is coming up too. I don't know how many layers I'll get. Probably just a tiny little cake. Nothing more. Now we see the girl looking at it saying, such a big cake. Sue is also noticing it, saying, why did this guy bring such a big cake? Something feels off. He now understands that the cake isn't just for eating. It's probably meant for a fight. Then, when the cake is being cut, we see the girl watching intently. Everyone else is eating the cake, smearing it on each other's faces, doing all kinds of things. It turns into a cake fight. After a while, we see Sue quickly grab the girl and says, come to my side. Hide here. He takes her to a corner and makes her sit there, saying, don't come out until I say so. I'll bring you a big piece of cake, okay? Sue says this and runs off. Now along with this, the girl looks and says that I have no idea how tasty the cake will be. Then she wonders why he hid her away. Now we see that Sue goes to get the cake or something, but here a cake fight starts happening. But somehow, he manages to grab the cake. Now while bringing the cake, the girl is observing everything, wondering what is going on. These people are literally playing holy with the cake, seriously throwing it at each other. A 4-layer cake was brought in, and such a huge cake. What can I even say? Now the girl sees and says, what's even happening? Then she reaches out toward the cake. Now this is her hand. Wait a minute, where are the nails in it? Anyway, then we see that she's looking at the cake, and it falls. Oh no, my cake fell. Just then, Sue arrives and says, hey, why did you come out? I told you to stay hidden. Turns out he hid her away because the other people would have smeared her with cake. Now somehow he managed to bring the cake. Seriously, just look at this guy. He says, here I brought the cake. Outside, there are so many crazy people. I somehow managed to bring it. Now seeing it, the girl says, okay, it's a big cake. He says, I brought it for you, hiding it carefully. Then he hands over the cake. The girl is noticing everything, so the cake is here. Just look at the dedication, bro. Then the girl takes out a piece of the cake and tastes it. As soon as she does, Sue asks, so tell me, how was it? I mean, how did you like the cake? The girl says nothing, just responds, yeah, it's good. But she actually liked it a lot. Seriously, the girl loved the cake but doesn't say much. She just thinks, why are these people throwing the cake though? I want to eat this cake again. Now we see the girl sitting peacefully, watching how everyone is fighting. She questions, there's such good food, such a tasty cake, then why are they throwing it away? She asks this to Sue. The guy says, they're just excited, celebrating the party, that's why they're wasting the cake. Meanwhile, cake is smeared all over everyone's faces. The girl thinks, such an amazing cake, and they're throwing it instead of eating. What should I even say? And they're not even cleaning their clothes. Here, it's like an epidemic is going on, like a full-blown mess. Then we see the girl finishes all her cake. And with this, the episode ends. And if you still haven't liked my channel, then go ahead and like it and subscribe. See you in the next episode. So hello guys, welcome to the Manhwa Summers. So let's start this manhwa. In the last video, you might have seen that the girl had already finished her cake, finished eating and drinking as well. Now here, there's a party going on, music and all are playing. Golden Age kind of text is coming up. By the way, all of us know that this is the Golden Age. By the way, mine is already over, what should I even say? Here we see that the girl becomes very sad. Sue stands up and says, listen, I'll just go wash my face and come back, okay? Now Sue leaves after saying this, and the girl is left alone. I mean, she's alone, so should I go talk to her or not? That's exactly what's about to happen. Anyway, we see that the guy, Liang, comes up and says, hey sister-in-law, where did Sue go? He left you alone and went off? How about we get to know each other, huh? Hi, my name is Liang. Now we see the guy is here, chatting and all, asking for her name, but the girl flatly refuses. She says she doesn't want to talk to him. Now as soon as she says that, this Liang guy says, oh, so you don't want to talk? Did Sue tell you not to talk? Yeah, must be him. Now this guy says, anyway, you're looking really good, why don't you join my party? We'll have a lot of fun together. Fun? What kind of fun, bro? Now here we see that the guy, he had a cake inside his coat, since some cake was stuck on his coat, so he takes it out and tries to feed it to her, saying, here, tasty cake. Now as he brings the cake near her mouth, the girl stands up and says, Hey, stay away from me. He's almost bringing it to her mouth when she's about to react. She's getting really angry. Bro, she's a 10,000-year-old girl. Anyway, just then 𝙒𝙬 comes from behind, puts his hand on Liang's shoulder and says, "Hey, how dare you? What nonsense are you talking?" As soon as he says this, he gives a powerful punch right in Liang's stomach. Bro, seriously, the punch was so strong. Even though there's no blood coming from his mouth, he does spit out. Now the guy sits down, holding his stomach in pain. But just then, the guy also throws a strong punch back at 𝙒𝙬's face. Now we see 𝙒𝙬 gets a punch on the face and his nose starts bleeding. Bro, seriously, you were supposed to spit blood but only spit came out earlier. Now he falls far away, lands on the table. As he crashes into the table, all the girls around start watching and say, "Oh, they're fighting again. Forget these guys, just look at that girl in green. Seriously, she's looking really good to me." Now here we see the fight is going on, they keep fighting each other. The rest of the guys come to break up the fight. All of them grab 𝙒𝙬 to pull him away. But just then the girl comes, and as she grabs 𝙒𝙬's clothes, she pulls him back. As she pulls, all the guys are shocked. They're like, "Whoa, this girl is seriously this strong? We 5 couldn't pull him off and she did it with one hand." Now the guy whose girlfriend's birthday it is, he grabs Liang and says, 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪𝙨, why am I so stupid? Why did I even invite these two? They ruined my whole party. And yeah, the guy's vibe gets totally ruined. Now we see 𝙒𝙬's nose is bleeding a lot, he's in bad shape and says, "Bro, look at your birthday party, Liang ruined it. You should land a few punches yourself." Now just as he says that, the birthday guy, whose girlfriend's birthday it is, says, "Maybe it'd be better if I punch you instead." Now this Wang Ji guy says that and tells everyone to leave. He says, "Go, go, the party's over, everyone leave." Now there are only a few people sitting around. By the way, look at that girl sitting there, she's also looking nice. Now we see that 𝙒𝙬 is badly injured. He's got all kinds of stuff stuffed in his nose and says, "If you're not satisfied, we can fight again. I won't spare you." Now we see Liang is also in bad shape, bleeding from the nose too. Then Wang Ji comes and says, "Hey, all of you stop. Stop fighting. Why are you guys fighting like this? Just look at your face, it looks like a swollen pig." 𝙒𝙬 says, "Yeah, I know what my limit is, don't teach me, okay?" Now we see 𝙒𝙬 asks, "By the way, how did he even dare to touch my girlfriend?" As 𝙒𝙬 is saying this, we see 2 or 3 people entering from the door. There's a knock-knock. Now Wang Ji says, "Oh, who's here now? We're having a party." He asks with his eyes closed. Just then, we see it's the police officers at the door. As soon as they arrive, they say, "We got news there's a fight going on here." As they say that, someone behind recognizes one of them and says, "Oh, 𝙗𝙬, you're here?" This guy actually knows the other police officer. Now we see that it's one of their friends who got a job in the police force. Now they ask, "You know him?" And the guy says, "Yeah, I know him. These are some of my old school friends, nothing more." Now the other one says, "Okay, got it. Let's go inside." Now the police officers have entered inside. As soon as they come in, the uncle, one of the officers, says, "Wow, what's going on here? The place is trashed. Bottles are broken." We see 𝙒𝙬's face is completely swollen. The officer first looks at 𝙒𝙬, then at Liang. Liang is signaling something, I don't know what. The officer says, "So you guys were having a great time, huh?" Wang Ji says, "No sir, we were just enjoying, partying, singing songs, just on a trip. We were just having a party, nothing else." Now Wang Ji is lying. Then we see he asks his friend, "Hey man, you're looking good in the uniform." And the friend says, "Thank you so much." Then we see the police officer asks 𝙒𝙬, "So tell us what happened here?" 𝙒𝙬 doesn't say anything, just says, "Nothing happened." He says that and we see the girl hiding behind him. 𝙒𝙬 says, "What my friend said is what happened. We were just partying, that's all." Then the police officer says, "Only a donkey would believe that. Just look at your face, how swollen it is." Then he asks, "Show me your ID card." Here 𝙒𝙬 says, "Oh, it was a party, so I forgot to bring my Aadhaar card." So basically, they need an identification card, and they call it Aadhaar here. The officer says, "What? You didn't bring your Aadhaar card? Okay, tell me your identification number, quickly." Now the officer keeps asking. He also notices that the place is totally wrecked. Then he says, "You're saying you were partying and not fighting? Just look at this broken stuff." 𝙒𝙬 says, No one fought, no one fought." But just then we see 𝙒𝙤𝙤 stands up and says, "We did fight. He hit me first." As soon as he says this, the officer focuses on him. Everything was going fine, but this guy came and ruined it. Now the officer says, "So did you guys fight or not? Tell me clearly, yes or no?" 𝙒𝙤𝙤 says, "Yes, we did. He attacked me first. Sir, just look at this mess. Who would believe we were partying? We fought here." Now we see that the police officers are questioning them, and Sue is saying, "He attacked me first, that's why I hit him. We were just having fun, that's all. We were just messing around and joking, we didn't have any serious fight. It was just fun while drinking, we got a little excited and ended up fighting." Here the police officer says, "Alright, all of you come to the police station, we'll talk there." As soon as he says that, Sue says, "Listen, just drop my sister home, okay? I'll go to the police station." Now Sue is directly saying this to his friend. His friend starts thinking, wait a minute, didn't Sue just say she was his friend? Now he's calling her his sister? What kind of logic is that? Here the police officer says, "I told you all to come to the police station, understood? Because all of you are eyewitnesses, and we'll investigate the situation from multiple angles. Understood?" Now we see that as soon as he says this, Sue starts getting nervous. He's thinking, if this girl goes there, it'll be a problem. Sir, she's in high school, she hasn't even finished her homework yet, so she has to go and complete it. The police officer says, "Stop playing tricks. If she looks like a high schooler, then shut up and come to the police station." His friend also says, "Sir, just let her go, we'll tell you everything. You can ask me." He replies, "I said all of you are coming. So you're coming. Enough of this nonsense." All three of them fall silent. His friend says, "Brothers, don't look at me, I'm new here, I don't even know how this job works, alright? Just do what they say." Then Sue says, "Okay, she's my friend, and she's never been to a police station before, so I don't want her to come." The police officer says, "Hey, all of you, come to the police station quietly. Stop talking too much. We're not going to eat you alive. You'll return in one piece. Come on now." The police officers say this, and now these people, unwillingly, have to go to the police station, all four of them. Now we see that they've come out of the hotel where they were partying. Sue's friend asks, "So this cousin of yours is still in high school? What's her age? Are you two really cousins or something else?" Now the guy is teasing him. "Yeah, her name is 𝙒𝙤𝙤, and he shares all the details." Then his friend says, "Alright, I get it. Bro, you can even call Kin. Okay? Call Kin." "What are you talking about, bro? Kin what?" Meanwhile, Wang Ji's girlfriend says, "Listen Ji, I'm not going in the police car. I'll go in your car. Take me in your car, please." Now they are going in their own car. The scene shifts. We are shown the car scene, meaning they've reached the police station. As soon as they arrive at the police post, the car stops. Wang Ji says, "Hey Sue, your house is here." "My house?" "Stop talking nonsense." They're just joking around heavily. Then the police officer says, "Enough, it's already too late. Be quiet now. We have to investigate, understood?" The police officers are being very strict with all of them. Sue is thinking, if this girl goes inside, it's going to be a mess. What should I do? I'm stuck. Meanwhile, the girl is lost in her own thoughts. No one knows what she's thinking. The scene shifts. The police officers make Sue and the other guy sit separately and ask them, "Tell me what happened. Tell me quietly." Now both are being questioned. The officer says, "So, who will speak first? What happened?" They first ask Sue. "It was just a simple fight. He was bothering me, teasing me, so I hit him because he insulted me, disrespected me." As soon as he says this, the police officer says, "I said in detail. That's all I can explain." Now we see he's pointing at the other guy. The police officer says, "Alright, you tell us what happened." Now the other guy is thinking, "I don't know what to say. I didn't even want to come to the police station, but now that I'm here, I won't let it go." Now this guy has made a full plan. "Listen, we were just joking around, that's all. But then he punched me hard and I hit him back. That's it. Nothing else happened. I hit him, he hit me." As soon as the police officer hears this, he gets furious and says, "I told you to explain in detail. Are you high school kids or what? Don't you know how to explain something in detail?" The police officer is shouting in anger, yelling at the top of his voice, saying, "Detail means the full detail, understood? Explain everything clearly. You understand what I mean?" The officer is screaming loudly and then says, "Now tell me who will describe it first?" They ask 𝙒𝙬 again. 𝙒𝙬 doesn't say anything. Just, "No, I'm not telling." Now the other guy says, "Alright, I'll go first." And he starts telling. In the beginning, I offered him a drink, but he clearly refused, so I didn't force him. And then, he begins sharing all the details. He's thinking that this is the first time 𝙒𝙬 has come to a police station, hope she doesn't act out. The officer says, "Hey, what are you thinking? Now it's your turn. Tell your version of the story. Tell quickly." They ask 𝙒𝙬 again. Just, "Nothing much. In the beginning he disrespected me, so I settled the score. What else? If he insults me, obviously I'll hit him. My ego was hurt anyway." 𝙒𝙬 is saying this and the other guy says, "Sir, I was just joking. Just messing around." Then the police officer says, "Oh, so you guys are saying you fought over a joke, over some fun?" As soon as he says that, the situation becomes absolutely silent. Now the police officer says, "Okay, so how will you two sort this matter? Will you shake hands or do something else?" The other guy says, "Handshake? Arrest him. Put him in jail." The police officer says, "Both of you were involved in the fight, so I'll put both of you in jail. Because both of you are injured. And if it's about going to jail, then the doctor will decide who is more injured." Now we see the other guy shows his stomach and says, "Sir, look how badly I'm hurt in my stomach." Then 𝙒𝙬 says, "Okay then, how about we shake hands? Otherwise, you'll also have to go to jail. What if the doctor says you're more injured?" The police officer says, "You seem to know a lot, huh? Think you know this whole process?" They question 𝙒𝙬 again. The other guy stands up and says, "But sir, he attacked me first. What was I supposed to do? He hit me first." Then the police officer says, "Alright, I'll fine him 500 yuan and give him 8 days of jail. And you'll also have to pay a fine, 200 yuan and 5 days of jail. Tell me, do you accept this punishment or want to keep dragging this matter? Shake hands or go to jail." Now the other guy is in shock. He thinks, "I thought only he would go to jail, but now I also have to go." Anyway, they both shake hands and settle the matter. 𝙒𝙬 comes outside. As soon as he comes out, his police friend asks, "Hey bro, what happened? Anyway, your face will get better with time. It's already very late. How about I drop you home?" As soon as he asks this, 𝙒𝙬 is saying, "How useless you are. I think you should just stay at home. You're not capable of anything. Don't bother working." Now, as 𝙒𝙬 says this, even though nothing happened, they were still called out in the middle of the night. At this point, that police friend covers his mouth and says, "What the hell are you saying? Don't you know our boss is sitting outside? If he hears this, there'll be a huge mess. Understand what you're saying, nothing happened." Here, we see that the police officer holds him and says, "Listen, I'll drop you home." 𝙒𝙬 replies, "No need. We'll just book a cab and go." Then the scene shifts. We're shown that guy saying, "By the way, your cousin is still sitting outside. She refused to come in. That's why she's still sitting outside the police station." Now the scene shifts again. We see the outside scene where Wang Ji is checking the time and says, "Man, it's already 1 a.m. and they still haven't come out. Anyway, look at how the girl is sitting." Then Wang Ji says, "Why haven't 𝙒𝙬 and Liang come out yet? What happened to them?" Just then, 𝙒𝙬 comes out and says, "Who are you waiting for out here? You should have gone inside. It's cold." As he says that, Wang Ji says, "No man, if I go inside, I'll get sleepy. Anyway, you guys have messed everything up today. Today's a complete mess." 𝙒𝙬 replies, "Yeah, I know. It's all because of Liang. Next time, I won't spare him. I'll break his face. By the way, where's your girlfriend? You guys have been dating for a month, right? Why didn't she show up?" Wang Ji replies, "She went home. What else?" Now they're leaving. Wang Ji says, "Okay, I'll drop you guys to the cab." The other guy says, "Yeah, fine, I'll go with you." They're waiting outside for the cab to arrive. They're feeling cold now and 𝙒𝙬 is sneezing and saying, "Bro, it's freezing. If I had known it'd be this cold at night, I wouldn't have come with you at all. I'm seriously freezing." Wang Ji notices and says, "Wait a minute, hold on." He looks at 𝙒𝙬 and sees that 𝙒𝙬 is wearing a jacket while the girl hasn't worn anything warm. He says, "In situations like this, it's normal for a guy to give his jacket to the girl. But you're doing nothing." He questions 𝙒𝙬 about it. 𝙒𝙬 says, "Should I do that?" He has no idea. The girl says, "I'm not cold at all." After the girl says that, Wang Ji says, "She's not cold?" Tell me one thing, is she your cousin or your girlfriend? What is she? 𝙒𝙬 is confused. Anyway, after a while, the scene shifts. We're shown they've reached home. 𝙒𝙬 says, finally we're home. Let's go. He walks ahead while the girl doesn't follow him from his side but takes another path. 𝙒𝙬 goes ahead and says, man, we still have to go quite far. Before going he says, hey, walk from my side, what are you doing? The girl replies, hey, I'm not your puppet to walk beside you. Did someone say I'm your puppet? You never walk from my side, do you? Then why should I walk from your side? After she says that, we see the girl walking ahead. 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, I already told you that you're not my puppet. Fine, walk however you want. The girl says, yeah, I know. I'm not going to walk from your side anyway. You always behave like this. Scene shifts again. They've entered the house now. 𝙒𝙬 is resting and says, finally I'm home. I'm really tired. What do I even do now? Then he asks, by the way, what did Wang Ji ask you at the police station? The girl says, he asked me if I was your high school cousin. That's all. And that we had gone for a birthday celebration. She tells him everything. 𝙒𝙬 says, great, you gave a perfect answer. The girl says, yeah, I knew it. Besides, the constables here aren't that scary. 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, I know. If you don't act violent, they won't harm you. They'll even treat you nicely. Now we see 𝙒𝙬 stretching and feeling sleepy. It's around 1:30 a.m. now. Then 𝙒𝙬 asks, by the way, did you realize that you're starting to depend on me? Like you trust me more and more. Follow what I say? The girl replies, I don't know anything. That's why I'm listening to you. If I knew things, why would I follow you? 𝙒𝙬 says, okay, to be very honest, don't you feel scared that I might sell you off? The girl replies, no, I know you won't do that because you're a good person. As soon as she says that, 𝙒𝙬 goes quiet for a moment. Then look at the girl carefully. She says, he didn't even touch me. He didn't even touch my face. 𝙒𝙬 also says, yeah, I know. He can't even touch your face. If he had touched your face, I wouldn't have spared him. That Liang wouldn't even be able to stand on his feet. Here 𝙒𝙬 is saying, anyway, we were fighting like kids, right? 𝙒𝙬 laughs while saying this. The girl notices and says, what? They call that a fight? These people call that fighting? The girl becomes alert because their kind of fighting used to be of a different level. Then the girl asks, why did you hit him anyway? 𝙒𝙬 replies, because he deserved it. Guys like him deserve to be beaten up. Got it? Now 𝙒𝙬 is joking while saying all this. He adds, look, if any guy ever bothers you or annoys you, hit him so hard with all your strength. But don't hit him too much, otherwise, the police will put you in jail. Scene shifts. We see the girl going to take a bath. 𝙒𝙬, meanwhile, starts thinking questionable thoughts like wondering when he'll sleep with her and all. As he's thinking about her going to get rice or something, we see something strange happen. He gets a 90 degrees angle. I don't know why that happened. But if you think dirty thoughts, that's what happens. Then we see the girl coming back. As she approaches, she's holding a hairdryer. She's blushing a bit. 𝙒𝙬 sees her and instantly stands up and says, hey, you can dry your hair on your own. I'm going to take a shower. He says this and quickly leaves. The girl is confused, not understanding what's going on with 𝙒𝙬. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 going in and locking the door, thinking, thank God I was saved. She got really close. If she had seen, it would have been a mess. Scene shifts. 𝙒𝙬 has now also taken a bath. It's been more than 10 minutes now. Then the girl says, I noticed today that most of the girls had short or weird hair. 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah bro, personal choice. Do whatever you want. You want to cut your hair short? She says, yeah, a little. As soon as she says that, 𝙒𝙬 says, no, don't cut your hair short. Long hair looks better. Don't cut it. Now 𝙒𝙬 is saying all this and thinking, if she cuts her hair short, how will she look? Like some comic character? No, don't do it. Then 𝙒𝙬 comes over and takes the hairdryer and says, come, I'll dry your hair. He comes closer and starts drying her hair. The girl notices and says, okay bro, dry my hair. By the way, this is normal, right? Like boys drying girls' hair is normal. The poor girl is really innocent here. 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, it's a normal thing. A guy helps a girl, that's why I'm drying your hair. Now the guy starts drying her hair. I don't know why, but I feel like this guy named 𝙒𝙬 has started liking this girl. Anyway, we see that 𝙒𝙬 has dried her hair and all, but she still looks a bit wet. Just look at this. Seriously, she's sitting there all uncomfortable, and 𝙒𝙬 is busy drying her hair. Then we see Sue puts the hairdryer down and says, "Alright, we're done now." Here we see Sue saying, "Okay, I'm going now. Good night. And don't forget to turn off the lights." Then Sue starts heading toward his room, saying, "You should sleep too." The scene shifts. We're shown that the girl has turned off the lights and is now sitting at the computer saying, "Good night," and thinking to herself, what does good night even mean? He said good night to me, so I said it back. Then we see this girl taking out her phone and, what, is she opening some 18+ website? No, nothing like that. We see her saying Google, but wait, it's not Google back then. She's searching for night or good night, saying, okay, there were two characters, good and night. Now she's searching about good night. On her phone, the term good night pops up, but you know what happens? Just look carefully, she ends up playing a song. As soon as she clicks on it, a song starts playing. The girl looks at it and says, why is this voice coming out? Anyway, she eventually falls asleep. She had taken the phone to bed with her, and even then, the song keeps playing. She tries to stop it, but it won't stop. It just keeps going. All night long, the phone keeps playing, and the girl somehow manages to fall asleep. The scene shifts to morning. Sue wakes up saying, oh, it's morning. Let's go. He comes out and says, good morning. The girl is quietly sitting and working on the computer. Sue comes and asks, hey, why didn't you prepare breakfast? The girl bluntly replies, I'm working. When she says that, Sue says, okay, looks like I'll have to go get breakfast myself. No problem, I'm going. Sue quickly gets ready and leaves to get breakfast. The door closes. As soon as the door shuts, watch the girl carefully. She goes back to the computer and starts working. But she's not really working. She's actually up to something else. For some reason, she's feeling curious and starts checking what the word girlfriend means, who is called a girlfriend, what it means, and all that. She starts making notes. What? Is this girl thinking of studying? But who studies about girlfriends, bro? We see that she's deep in thought, wondering what girlfriend means, what a girlfriend is for, what she does. She's searching all this stuff. But even after searching everything, she still doesn't get it, because it's all written in English and she can't read English. Right after finishing her searches, she starts looking up more things like, do ghosts really exist in the world or not? She's searching all that when suddenly the door opens. Sue enters saying, I'm back with breakfast. The girl gets startled and says, oh no, he's back. Shit. It's like she got caught red-handed. Sue asks her to come, but the girl says, no, I'm working. Sue says, oh come on, you can stop working and eat. I'll eat later. The girl talks back in anger. Then Sue comes closer and says, if you eat later, your stomach might hurt. So just eat now, quietly. Sue is saying this and also tells her that he brought eggs and stuff for her. Then the girl says, okay, by the way, I want to play that game I played a long time ago. I want to reach the second level. Can you help me? Sue replies, oh, second level, huh? Sure, you can try if you think you can do it. Here we see that bro has given her permission. The girl says, thank you so much. I'll definitely try, young master. As she says that, Sue notices and says, well, it's a good thing. At least she's into games. It's normal, by the way. Then the girl says, I got buns. She looks carefully at the bun and starts drinking juice or something. Seriously, bro, the girl is drinking juice and I'm just quietly recording the video. What even can I say? Anyway, the girl says, thank you so much for giving me such delicious food, young master. As soon as she says that, Sue responds, hey, it's nothing. You eat every day, right? Then why are you thanking me so much today? Sue asks this question and the girl says, because the cake yesterday was really tasty, super tasty. That's why. She also says, and you're giving me all this food too. Sue says, oh yeah, your birthday promise. When your birthday comes, I'll get you a big cake. As soon as he says this, the girl replies, I don't even know when my birthday is. This girl has no idea when her birthday is. Sue looks at her and says, oh ho, you don't know your birthday? Okay then, how about this? We'll just pick a day and celebrate it as your birthday. Or maybe the day you came here, we'll celebrate that as your birthday. As soon as Sue says this, we'll celebrate your birthday on the day you arrived here. The girl becomes happy and says, really? That means I'll get to eat cake again? Wow, I'll get to eat cake. Now the girl gets super excited. Seeing her this happy, Sue looks and says, oh, she's gotten too happy just at the mention of cake. Let's do one thing. You can eat cake today too. I'll bring you cake even today. Sue says this, adding, I'll go get a cake for you in a little while, okay? The girl says, you'll really bring me cake? Thank you so much, young master. She starts thanking him, but then suddenly realizes something and says, no, but cake is expensive. Will you really buy cake for me? No, let it be. Cake must be really expensive. Good things cost more. Sue says, no, it's not that expensive. Look, I'm ordering it now. Just wait, I'll get you a nice cake. He's checking his phone about the cake. The girl is sipping her juice. Then Sue says, by the way, do you have a copper coin? Maybe you brought one with you last time? The girl replies, I don't have any copper coin. But yes, I have something like a silver coin. It's broken, just a piece of it. She starts checking for it, saying, wait a minute, where did it go? It was just here. Let me check. The girl quickly puts her hand in her pocket, but turns out, she doesn't even have a pocket. Even her sword is missing. She says, where did it go? Oh shit, looks like it's lost. Maybe my clothes got washed. Here Sue says, it's okay, no worries. It's fine. If you didn't find it, then no problem. Then Sue starts thinking and says, alright, whatever it is, let's just go get the cake for her. Now the scene shifts. We're shown another location. It's morning again, and we see a guy coming back after doing his duty. And this guy, you know who it is, right? He's that same young police officer, the one whose name is actually 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬. Just then, we see an 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 asking, saying, 𝙒𝙬𝙤, did your petrol run out? 𝙒𝙬𝙤 says, no 𝙒𝙬𝙤, I mean my duty is over, so I'm coming home. My work is done. Oh okay, then run quickly otherwise she'll send me, she says. Right then, a guy shows up saying, Dad, I've reached home. As soon as he gets home, he looks carefully and says, hey Dad, this dog, who brought this cute little dog here? When did it come? What is it doing here? Anyway, the uncle says, I'm going out, okay? You train it. This is going to be your pet dog, it'll be a police dog, alright? I'm leaving now. 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 says, what? I don't even know how to train a dog. Uncle says, what? You don't know how to train a dog? Then how are you a police officer? 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 says, oh Dad, how would a police officer know how to train a dog? I only know how to defuse bombs. Uncle says, what? Look, if you raise it you'll figure out how to train it, understood? Here, Uncle is explaining everything to him. 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 says, okay, by the way, what's its name? Uncle says, I haven't figured that out yet, but yes, we'll definitely find a name based on its strength. I'll think about it. Oh okay, even I didn't think about that, what name we should pick, 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 replies. Then we see 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 looking and saying, by the way, does that cousin really exist? Now he asks this question, saying, does Sue really have a cousin? Here, Uncle says, a cousin? I don't know if there is any cousin. Why, are you interested in her? Tell me, why are you asking? 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 says, oh no, I was just asking casually, it's nothing like that. Now we see 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 sitting and thinking, man, how did she have a cousin? I have no idea, because as far as I know, our families know each other very well. And as far as I know, she doesn't even have a cousin. We were both male-male, right? Then how can there be a marriage between male-male? Now he keeps thinking about all these things. Then Uncle says, okay, so if that's the case, then why are you asking about her cousin? Tell me. 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 says, oh no, I met a young lady today, actually yesterday, who was saying she's a cousin. She was really nice, she was beautiful. Here Uncle asks a question. 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 says, yes, she was beautiful. Alright then, give me some time. I'll ask Sue about it, okay? What's the matter exactly? Uncle says. Now Uncle says all this and leaves. Then we see 𝙒𝙬𝙬𝙬 still thinking, though even I don't know and I don't even want to ask about it. Anyway, no problem. The girl was nice though. Here, 𝙒𝙬𝙬𝙬 keeps thinking about all this and the episode ends here. And guys, please like and subscribe to my channel. So hello guys, welcome to episode 6 of He Got a Girlfriend from the Past and now she enjoys the modern world. So let's not waste time and start this manhwa. At the start of the chapter, we see Sue coming out and saying, hello uncle, do you still see any ghosts? Now he is asking this question to the guard uncle, who replies, no, now I don't see any ghosts, but yes, believe me, I'm sure there's a ghost. Just trust me, okay? I'll find it and bring it out. Here we see Sue also saying, oh okay fine. Now who will tell the uncle that the ghost is standing right next to me? With this, we see he is taking that girl with him, and while going he asks her, do you know how much you've scared the uncle? The girl also says, sorry, it won't happen again next time. She quietly agrees. Now look closely, bro. The girl keeps staring. At whom? Su. Now Sue looks at her and says, hey, what's wrong with her? Then the girl asks, why do those people think I'm your girlfriend? Sue says, girlfriend? Yeah, I don't know, people just think that you're my girlfriend. What can I do? People just assume things. We can't really do anything about it. Here we see the girl saying, well, I've already told them that I'm not your girlfriend, but still they think that, so what can I do? Then she asks, okay, by the way. Then Sue says, come on, let me give you lemon juice. Now with this, the girl starts thinking, I don't understand why people keep thinking I'm his girlfriend. This means now the girl understands what girlfriend means. Then we see her thinking, young master, wait a minute, what exactly does a girlfriend do? Now she asks this question, saying, I'll try not to do any of the things that a girlfriend does, so that people stop calling me your girlfriend. Then we see Sue saying, she doesn't really do anything. She goes shopping with her boyfriend, eats and drinks together, drinks juice, walks through alleys, spends time together, eats and drinks together. As he lists these things, the girl thinks, but we do all these things too, don't we? Then Sue says, they even live together, sleep together, eat and drink together. As he continues speaking, the girl thinks, they even drink? But we do all this too. Then Sue says, but you're a bit different. You're with me, but that doesn't mean you're my girlfriend, understand? He keeps saying all this. Then the girl says, wait, a girlfriend can't drink this juice? Hold on, here we see the girl thinking, I'll throw this juice away because the girlfriend drinks it, right? So I won't drink it. No, I shouldn't waste it. It's expensive and tasty too. With that, the girl quietly says, okay, everything will be fine. Don't think too much about it, okay? Let people think whatever they want, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Sue also says, yeah, I know. Anyway, who's even thinking about all this? Let them think what they want, I don't care. Here Sue says, here's your cake shop. We're here. Now we see they've reached the cake shop. The girl notices it and says, oh, we're here. Great, we'll have fun. After a while, we see bro, they've already gotten their cake. Now they're about to celebrate a cake without any birthday. Well, no problem. Anyway, my birthday is coming, so it's good for me, we got a cake. Now the girl looks at the cake carefully and says, oh, such a big cake, no problem, it's good. She says, hey, by the way, you told me that if we help someone, we get money or something in exchange, right? So if I help you with something, if you have a problem, it'll be good. So tell me, what's your problem? Now Sue thinks, problem? Oh man, has this girl gone crazy or what? Then he says, actually, my problem is something you can't solve. It's kind of a big problem, so just leave it. And honestly, I don't have any problem. The girl says, no, tell me, what's the problem? I'll solve it. Then Sue says, the problem is I don't have a girlfriend. If I had one, things would be easier. Your matter would also be sorted. As soon as he says that, the girl starts thinking. Sue thinks, come on, say it, say you'll be my girlfriend. Please say it. He thinks the girl is about to say it, but we see she doesn't say anything and just walks away quietly. Sue thinks, what happened to this girl? Is her brain working or not? Then we see the girl finally speak. She says, young master, listen, I can't kidnap a girlfriend for you. Sorry, forgive me. In our rules, we're not allowed to do that. In our set, we girls can't kidnap others. Sorry. As soon as she says that, Sue's brain short-circuits. He's like, what should I even say now? Here Sue thinks, this girl's gone mad. Scene shifts, and we see Sue walking casually, all chill, and he's thinking about that girl. Then we see the girl grab her clothes and pull him, saying, hey, listen, are these things normal? Doing stuff like this? She points in a direction and says, just look there. Right now she was pointing toward two people doing something together. After seeing all this, Sue says, hey, what? Don't pay attention to this. You can't do these things in public. Then he says, well, tell me something. Didn't these things happen in your era? As soon as he says this, the girl replies, yeah, I had heard such things used to happen in my area. Then Sue says, tell me more. Sue starts thinking, wait a minute. Does that mean she saw these things in her time too? Did such things happen back then as well? Then the girl says, what should I even tell you? Sue says, all right, no problem. Let's not talk about this. Did you ever see people doing such things in your era? Now just as he says this, the girl is looking at him attentively and says, you shouldn't talk about such things, okay? After hearing so much, 𝙒𝙬 says, alright, maybe you're right, we shouldn't talk about all this. Let's go. But in 𝙒's mind, something else is going on. He's thinking, man, if this girl is so beautiful, then how beautiful must the other girls have been in her era? So while leaving he says, if you're free, let me know about your area, like what kind of things used to happen there. Were the girls beautiful or not? After hearing all this, the girl keeps staring at him but doesn't say anything. For now, we see her thinking about her era. She's saying, there used to be a lot of bloodshed there. Forget about beauty. Then she says, my life was really hard, not easy at all. Whatever happened, we should forget it. It's a story that I'll tell you later. Right after this, the scene shifts. We see 𝙒 has brought a cake and all, and seeing all this, the girl gets happy and says, what is this? 𝙒 says, you must be 18, right? Then this is for your 18th birthday. With this, he sets everything up, and here 𝙒 is about to celebrate her birthday. He says, wait a second, I'll go turn off the lights. The girl says, turn off the lights? Oh yes, this is a ceremony, it'll be more fun. So, they turn off the lights in the room, and here we see 𝙒 saying, welcome to your happy birthday plan, or something like that. Then he says, it's time to make a wish, so quickly make a good wish. Hearing this, the girl starts thinking, a wish? Okay, close your eyes and just think of something in your heart. Whatever you want, that will be your wish. After hearing all this, the girl says, alright, I'll think. Now here we see that this girl starts overthinking, like she's already thought of the entire month's ration. We see our 𝙒 getting bored, blowing a whistle, saying, don't know when her wish will be complete. And at this point, he's gotten close to her. Just then the girl opens her eyes, and when she opens them, 𝙒 is very close to her, and both of them start blushing. For now, we see 𝙒 saying, quickly blow out the candles so I can do your birthday wish thing. Then the girl blows out the candles quickly, and with that, the flame goes out. And here you guys can say, happy birthday, and all. The poor girl also feels a little weird, because you all are unknown people wishing her. For now, we see her asking, can I take a photo of your cake? 𝙒 gives her permission, and with that, the girl starts taking selfies and doing a little photo shoot, freedom vibes or whatever. 𝙒 says, come on, quickly cut the cake, I'm hungry. And yeah, I'm hungry for cake too. Yes guys, for now we see that they've cut the cake and are eating it together, and we're just looking at their faces or whatever. Now here there's also a sticker on which it's written, Happy Birthday 𝙒𝙬. After seeing the sticker, the girl gets a little emotional, at least that's what it seems to me. Or maybe not, whatever. These two are just chilling and eating their cake. 𝙒 then asks, what happened? Didn't you like it? The girl says, no, it's really tasty, delicious. Now let me tell you, this was the first time she tasted cake, so she didn't know what it tastes like. Now here, our 𝙒 is thinking, well, I've never seen or made a girl eat cake for the first time like this. And he's wondering whether cakes even existed in her era or not. We see the girl happily eating her cake. Just then, bro enters with drinks, saying, here, cheers, or something like that. 𝙒's face is also quite good looking, kind of like mine. Now here, the girl also starts saying, thank you, and all, and bro, feelings have started to kick in. I'm starting to suspect that 𝙒 and this girl are starting to have feelings for each other. Well, we'll find out later, right? Now with that, the two of them are playing chess and also drinking together. Now here, the girl is just sitting and staring at the cake, while 𝙒 is playing with his cat. And then the girl starts explaining her story saying, during my time, this matter happened. And while explaining, the poor thing gets really emotional. Now here 𝙒 says, the matter she told me? I'm thinking that maybe that wasn't the golden era, this is. Because here, there's complete peace, and look at you, just enjoying your life peacefully. Thinking and hearing all this, the poor girl starts feeling troubled. For now, we see 𝙒 searching on the internet about the past generations and thinking, yeah, in your time, there were good and bad things too, so whatever, just look at it. As for you, I can at least give you some happiness, right? As for me, I'm a lucky person because I have you. Now 𝙒 is thinking all this in his heart, saying, golden age, whatever, forget it, don't think too much about it. It was the past, it's gone. You should forget it. After hearing and thinking all this, the girl also agrees and says, thank you so much, 𝙒 King. As soon as 𝙒 hears this, he says, okay, that's good. Then the girl looks at the cake and says, can I save this for tomorrow? I mean, that's a fair point, right? We all know that we can't eat a whole cake. We're not such big gluttons. 𝙒 says, it'll go bad, the taste won't be the same. But we see the girl saying, "It's okay, I'll still like it." Now as she says this, she also picks up that sticker that says, "Jong's happy birthday," and just keeps looking at it and gets really happy from inside. Then Sue says, "Shall we do another toast?" Hearing that, the girl says yes, because she had no intention of refusing, and she can't refuse either. Sue says, "Here, have a drink." Now here, Sue keeps making her drink again and again. What does that mean? What's he planning? Now we see this girl getting emotional again for some reason. The poor girl is thinking and looking. Maybe she's remembering her mom and dad, or whatever. We'll find out. For now, the scene shifts. We see our Sue casually using his computer, and just then the girl lifts her face and comes over to Sue. But she's hesitating to go near him. I don't know why, but yeah, something mischievous is going on in her head. Now look at her, bro. She gets irritated because she's been waiting for a long time. So we see that Sue, right, he says. What happened? What do you need now? And the moment he says that, the girl is shocked. How did he know? How did he find out? Because he was doing his own work, right? Then we see that the girl has come outside and comes over to him. As she approaches, Sue is watching her. And then we see that the girl has hidden something behind her hand. Sue is also wondering, what's behind her hand? She says, "Well, what you said to me earlier, you should have told me beforehand." But we see that the girl doesn't say anything else. Then Sue says, "Listen, I'm sending you 100 yuan so you can shop for yourself. I'll also teach you how to do shopping and all that." He starts explaining it to her, saying, "You do it like this, like that." And while he's saying that, the girl is making a weird face. I don't know why. Anyway, he's explaining to her how to shop. That's the plan. But we see the girl starts getting annoyed. Seeing all this, Sue also gets a little disturbed. Then we see the girl says, "This piece of cloth? Yeah, it's torn. That means her dress is torn." Hearing this, Sue is shocked. What happened? I was talking about shopping, and she's showing me her torn dress. Then Sue says, "Okay, don't worry. I'll look up how to sew clothes online and learn. You don't worry, okay?" Hearing this, the girl quietly starts walking away. And with that, we see she reaches the door. She's about to open it when we find out she's thinking, is all this normal? Like, this conversation we're having, is it normal? She asks Sue this question. I don't know why, but is this all normal? Sue replies, yeah, we don't hide anything from each other, so this is normal. What else can be more normal than that? The girl says, yeah, maybe you're right. It is normal. I don't know why, but I feel like this girl is madly in love. Then we see after closing the door, she comes to the other side and keeps thinking. She's wondering, what should I hide? We don't hide anything from each other. I don't know, bro, what they're even talking about. Then the scene shifts. We see Sue, after some time, has handed over 100 yuan to her. And after giving her the money, Sue says, here, I've paid you, all right? And just look at the girl's expression, bro. She's brought her phone close to her mouth like she's about to eat it. She's staring hard and saying, I returned the 100 yuan. Then Sue says, do you know how to cook? She replies, yes, I do. Sue says, good. Then make food for me too. Hearing this, the girl becomes happy and says, yes, I can cook for you. Or I can learn. I know how to cook. Now we find out that she used to be a chef in her own era. Sue says, of course you can cook. So go ahead. If you want me to teach you how to cook, you'll have to come with me. Okay, today we'll learn how to fry potatoes, he says as he leads her to the kitchen. He continues, wait, let me teach you. First we'll wash it, then peel it. That's the process. So Sue is explaining everything step by step and thinking, maybe my cooking skills will impress her. And with that, we see he has closed the door and gone shopping. And he's left her with the potatoes to wash. After a while, we see the girl has finished washing and says, finally done. She has cleaned the entire kitchen, like, totally spotless. And she's thinking, I've made a nice meal. But bro, she hasn't cooked. She just cleaned up. Anyway, whatever. Now she's thinking, it's good. If I learn how to cook, that'll be nice. I'll make good food for myself. Soon, Sue comes back and says, I'm finally here. The girl is looking closely at the groceries he's brought. He's brought potatoes and all. The girl asks, what is this? Sue replies, this is a potato. Don't overthink it. First, we need to wash it. Pick it up quickly and let's go. Now we see the girl picks it up in a second, but while lifting it, Sue feels pain in his hand. Sue says, first we have to wash it, then peel it. Wash it properly, okay? And the girl is getting confused again and again. She says, how do I wash it? Like this? Okay, fine. Well, I'm staying here, so let me work. I don't want to just sit around and eat for free, okay? Because I owe you. Now we see the girl is saying all this. Just, okay then, I'll give you a bonus tip. Don't do this kind of stuff again. Hearing this, the poor girl gets shocked and says, okay. Then Sue says, here, do it like this. He's showing her how to cook potatoes by watching the internet. And he's also learning himself. The girl says, oh, so we peel it like this? Yeah, first cut it like this. At that moment, Sue gets a call from his friend named 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬. Sue picks up the phone and steps aside, saying, wait, I need to take this call. Meanwhile, wash and peel the potatoes. I'll come back and show you the rest. The girl nods. He picks up the phone and says, hello, what made you think of me? Was there something you needed? His friend says, no, just felt like chatting. Does it always have to be work? Are you free? But Sue says, no, I'm cooking potatoes. Hearing that, 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝙬 is shocked and says, what? Wait a minute. You said you're cooking? Sue says, yeah, so what? Can't I cook? Now our Sue is saying all this and continues, why are you so shocked? Anyway, he ends the call and says, okay, I'm hanging up. Then he thinks, why does my friend think I can't cook? Is he doubting me? No, I can cook. So Sue is thinking all this and also wondering, I don't know how he'll react when he meets this girl. Meanwhile, the girl is searching on the internet. Is it normal for a guy and girl to be in a kitchen together cooking and stuff? She's searching all these things. And the answer she finds, it shocks her. Then we see Sue saying, this is oil. You pour it like this, do it this way, okay? He's explaining each and every step to the girl. And the girl is listening very carefully. Seriously, bro, if you find someone who listens like that, it's just perfect. At the same time, we see that Sue is explaining things. But the girl is thinking about something else entirely. The girl is thinking about something she read on the internet, that if a boy and a girl are together, they can become a small family. Slowly they get closer. She's lost in these thoughts when Sue asks her, did you understand? The girl replies, yes, I've memorized it. Now we see Sue also notices something's off with her. She's behaving really weirdly. But the girl doesn't seem to care at all. Then she says, even though my intentions are clear. Sue interrupts, what happened? What's clear? The girl quickly changes the topic, saying, nothing, I just said the food smells really good. While saying that, we see the food has been fully prepared, but honestly, it looks like grass. I don't know why. Anyway, the girl says, its taste is really delicious. Wow, I'm loving it. Just then, Sue brings her something else too, saying, here, this is for you, something like Doraemon food or whatever. The girl says, good, really good. I'm eating home-cooked food after a long time. It's yummy and very delicious. She's really enjoying the food, but yeah, from the looks of it, I'm not going to say anything, bro. Sue says, so you think just blowing on it will cool it down? Here, take this. He picks up a hot potato, but it burns his hands. He says, it's really hot. Try this one, it's a bit cooler. The girl gently takes it from him and Sue says, so, tell me, how is it? He adds, I don't know if in your era you've ever seen such potatoes, because they came from the West. If by any chance you go back to your original time, you should head to that region and loot it. Then you'll become super rich there. He explains all this to her and says, your name will be written in the history books as the #1 thief. Hearing this, the girl laughs and says, yeah, actually I came to this world to claim land. Sue is shocked and asks, land? What do you mean? The girl replies, well, I want to do farming too. As soon as she says this, Sue is shocked again and asks what she means. She continues, see, it's a good thing. Even if I don't know how to farm, I'll learn it. But I want to do it. Sue says, hey, whatever you're imagining, come out of your dreamland, okay? This is not your thing. But the girl insists, look at my strength, I'm very cute, okay? And yeah, I'll save up some money, buy seeds, and then start farming. She starts sharing all her creative, mischievous plans. Then Sue steps in and says, stop. That's enough. These things aren't for you. First, you should learn how to live in this era. Learn to survive here, then talk about farming. The poor girl gets shocked and goes quiet. Sue says, farming takes a lot of hard work. Just look at your hands, how soft they are. The girl is surprised but quietly agrees. However, she looks really sad, and Sue notices this. Though he doesn't say anything, he adds, "This place is your home, okay? So don't overthink. And as for me, I'll take good care of you." Hearing that, the girl starts blushing and says, "You'll take care of me?" Sue quickly says, No, don't misunderstand me." Just then, the watermelon shows up, stretching and yawning, that rascal cat or whatever. The girl says, "Young master, please don't joke like this. I admit you've always helped me, but still, I can't offer myself to you." Hearing this, Sue is shocked. "Huh? When did I ever say that? When did I ask you to give yourself to me?" The girl replies, "Look, this place is temporary for me. I'm not here permanently, okay? And there's nothing between us. I can't hide anything. I'm just here temporarily. So this place isn't mine." Sue says, Yeah, I understand. And for the record, my intentions are completely clear. You know I'm not a bad person." The girl says, "Yes, you're a good person." Then as she says, "Good boy," Sue gets shocked and says, "Good boy? No, call me young master. Not good boy." He gets annoyed and says, "You gave me a goodbye card." The girl then agrees, "Okay, from now on, I'll call you young master." The scene shifts. It's either morning or night, I can't tell. The girl is sitting and working, more like using the computer. Suddenly, she notices a file. She quickly opens it, and some secrets start revealing. She's checking out some albums. When she clicks on an album, a lot of photos pop up, one of which is really scary. Sue walks in and says, "Hey, does this look like me to you? That's not me at all." But the girl keeps insisting, "This person looks just like you. It is you, right?" Sue denies it, saying, "How is he like me? Not at all." The girl keeps staring at him. After a while, Sue gets scared and says, "Stop staring, girl. You'll make me cry." "Okay, fine, this is me." The girl is shocked and says, "You used to be so weird." This is a video where a doctor is explaining something. Apparently, Sue had hidden this video. He says, "Back when I was young, I was kind of weird. Just look." The girl is thinking about his words. Sue adds, "Luckily, I hid my secret video. She won't get her hands on it." Then he rushes to remove everything. The girl is just looking at him the whole time. Another photo pops up, and Sue holds his head. The girl says, "You were so weird. Look at your long hair." Sue replies, "Well, the long hair happened because my dad used to charge me rent again and again. What was I supposed to do?" He adds, "Anyway, forget it. Let me help you. I'll create a new account for you." He says she can upload her photos and that if anything happens, at least she'll have pictures to look at. The girl agrees, since she has no other option. Soon after, we see Sue somehow making or helping her create the account, let's say it's Facebook. While setting it up, he enters her username as Fly Dancer. The girl is shocked. "Fly Dancer? But I don't even know how to dance. Is this my online name?" Sue says, Yeah, fine. Everything's done now. If you have any trouble with searching stuff, just ask me, okay? All this is finally done. Just then, his phone shows that he had already sent her a friend request, so now they are friends. Bro, forget online. This is already amazing. Right now, Sue is saying that whatever happens, he'll get to know about it, so that's a good thing. Anyway, leave it. What's it to me? At least it's been 2 months since she started remembering things, and she's slowly starting to learn bit by bit. No matter how she was in her own era. But yeah, slowly she's adjusting to this environment. For now, we see the scene shift. Sometime later, the girl is standing and says, "I'm going to take a shower." Sue replies, "Okay, go ahead." He's just chilling, watching TV or something. Now the scene shifts again. We see the girl has taken off her clothes, and we notice that there are a lot of scratches on her back. She's drying her hair with a towel, and just after that, she looks in front of her and says, "I don't know, I feel like I'm changing slowly. I used to look different earlier, but now I seem a bit different. I don't know why." She's observing herself and says all this while looking at the mirror. She says, "Since I came here, I've changed a little." Then she comes outside. As soon as she steps out, Sue says, "Come here, I'll dry your hair. You've just taken a shower, right? Otherwise you'll catch a cold." Sue is already prepared with the hairdryer. We see the girl sit down in front of him, and Sue starts drying her hair. The girl says, "Why do you always dry my hair? When your hair was long, it used to look really beautiful. Grow it long again, and I'll dry your hair too using the hairdryer." But Sue refuses and says, "No, my current hairstyle is really good because I have to do training and all." The girl gets surprised and says, "What? 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, don't feel weird about it, okay? There's a hair salon outside, so you don't need to worry. After some time, I'll take you there, and you can get your hair trimmed. Then even your hair will start looking nice. Hearing this, the girl also gets shocked and slowly starts getting impressed. I don't know why, but yeah, the girl seems really happy. She says, at least there's someone who's protecting me. 𝙒𝙬 is really good to me. Now this girl is totally falling for him. Like mad in love. Just take it like that. With that, the scene shifts again. We see a later scene where the girl is outside, and 𝙒𝙬 is clicking her pictures. Right after taking some photos, he's looking at her very lovingly. And yeah, the girl looks really beautiful. Here 𝙒𝙬 says, I swear, this dress, darling, it looks amazing on her. She's mine. Then after returning to their room, 𝙒𝙬 says, look up there, just look in that direction. If you were from this era, I think your ice cream would have frozen. Did you even have such thick clothes back in your time? The girl says, no. 𝙒𝙬 asks, did you used to do training even during winters? The girl nods and says, yes, I used to train in the cold too. Then 𝙒𝙬 asks, did your feet ever freeze? As soon as he says that, the girl starts staring at him again. And bro, just look at this cap. Seriously, I'm feeling something else entirely. Anyway, let it go. Okay, I've kept all this stuff in the fridge. Eat and drink whenever you want. Don't wait for me. I'm leaving now. And there's no need to cook anything for me. After saying that, he heads out. And here the episode ends. Please guys, like and subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing you new romantic manhwas. And do leave a comment. It motivates me when I read your thoughts, and I'll keep bringing more videos for you all. Now at this point, 𝙒𝙬 had already stepped outside and was thinking, thank God, the good thing is that I'm going to meet my landlord. It's been some time now, and he might come to my house. If he comes to my house, then it'll be a problem because there's another girl at my place. Granted, my intentions are clean, but how would they know what kind of relationship we have or what the scene is? Now here 𝙒𝙬 is thinking about all these things and thinking, but yeah, only a few people are dumb like a watermelon or idiots who will believe in all this. Now here, the cat is also thinking, why did this guy hit me? What did I do? Forget it, man. What are you all even looking at? Now the scene shifts. We see a lady who's on the phone, and she's none other than 𝙒𝙬's mom. She's asking, what are you doing here? 𝙒𝙬 says, if not me, then who else would come here? Right then, the lady asks, where's your girlfriend? The one you were supposed to bring with you? 𝙒𝙬 replies, she's at home. I didn't bring her with me. As soon as she hears that, the lady says, why not? Why didn't you bring her? You said you'd bring your girlfriend. 𝙒𝙬 sits down and starts eating some oranges and says, stop staring at me. Just because she stays with me doesn't mean she's my girlfriend, okay? 𝙒𝙬 keeps saying things like this, and anyway, his dad once said that if he brings his girlfriend over, she'd just eat free food. As soon as the aunt hears this, she gets irritated. We see her constantly staring at him, while this guy is just chilling and peeling his orange. Suddenly she asks, well, where did that girl come from anyway? Don't tell me you just picked her up from some alley and brought her home. 𝙒𝙬 says, how is that even possible? How can some random girl from the streets end up at my place? He continues, she used to work in a city at a very big place. Then she got lost while working, and somehow she ended up at my house. 𝙒𝙬 keeps saying things like, I treat her like my little sister. I take good care of her. She does house chores like sweeping and mopping, and I pay her a salary too. 𝙒𝙬 is just saying whatever comes to his mind. His mom then asks again, but where did she actually come from? 𝙒𝙬 says, from beneath a mountain, deep inside a forest. He adds, her clothes looked like those of people from olden times, but her face seemed like that of a warrior. He's telling all these things, and the aunt feels that 𝙒𝙬 is just lying through his teeth. She even says, lie after lie, you're just spouting lies. But still, she admits her face doesn't look any different from others. 𝙒𝙬 agrees, yeah, exactly. Her face is just the same as anyone else's. She's just a bit careless. He's saying all this and starts thinking about her. The aunt then asks, okay fine, you're living with that girl, so what are your future plans with her? As soon as she says this, 𝙒𝙬 gets shocked and says, what do you mean by that? Look, we don't even sleep together. She sleeps in a separate room, in the storage room, not with me. That's all. The aunt says, so what if you don't sleep together? I mean, you must have at least seen each other, right? As soon as she says this, 𝙒𝙬 gets shocked again and says, that's it. I shouldn't have come here. Then the aunt stands up and says, fine. I don't think you both can live together. It'll be better if you break up quickly. Otherwise, something will go wrong. 𝙒 says, what if we do start living together? Then what? Will you accept it or increase the rent? The aunt replies, we'll see about that later. And then she walks into the kitchen asking, did you even look for a job? 𝙒 says, no, I'm still searching. Seriously, my life feels like someone else is living it instead of me. Anyway, forget it. It's around 7 p.m. now. And then we see Uncle entering. 𝙒 says, Dad, you're home too? As soon as he hears that, Uncle gets annoyed and says, why have you come here? To pay the rent. 𝙒 replies, no, I came here to eat free food. 𝙒 says that, and right then, Aunt yells at Uncle, telling him to wash his hands first, especially since he came home so late. The aunt is yelling loudly at Uncle, and meanwhile 𝙒 is happily eating food and thinking, seriously, home-cooked food is the best. So delicious. I always prefer home food. You guys tell me in the comments, do you prefer home food or outside food? 𝙒 is thinking, if only Jiang were here, she'd enjoy this food too. But she must be at home playing games or something. Anyway, forget it. He keeps thinking about her again and again. Uncle notices and even asks what he's thinking about. 𝙒 says, was I even thinking? Uncle figures it out. This guy has gone crazy in love. The scene shifts to a bit later. We see 𝙒 washing dishes now because no one gives free food, not even our own family. While 𝙒 is working, his eyes fall on a plant. It's a ginger plant. He asks his mom, this is a ginger plant, right? She says, yes, I brought it. Now 𝙒 is super impressed looking at it and thinks, I'll take this home. As soon as he reaches out to take it, Aunt smacks his hand and says, what do you think you're doing? She's asking 𝙒 this, and 𝙒 says, oh, come on, give me a little bit. I'll take it home too. As soon as he says this, the aunt keeps staring at him, but in the end, bro, she gives it to him anyway. Because, bro, what can I even say? That's just how the mother-son relationship is. Now 𝙒 gets it and thinks, I'll take it and give it to Jiang, whoever she is, and she'll definitely be impressed. For sure. She must love growing plants. He just keeps thinking about all this, right in front of his parents. Then we see the aunt asking, what are you even going to do with it at your house? You already have so many plants, right? But 𝙒 doesn't say anything because he's crazy in love. With whom? Forget it, man. Then we see 𝙒 saying, I'm in love. Poor guy is saying it. I don't know if he said it out loud or just mumbled it in his head. Then the aunt says, you both live together, this was bound to happen. As soon as she says this, 𝙒 says, why is your face turning so red? And then he says, no, it's nothing. I'm leaving. Gotta go home or I'll wake up late in the morning. And saying all that, he heads off towards his home. But before getting home, 𝙒 starts feeling a lot of emotions. And he's thinking, having a crush live at your place, man, what a feeling. He wonders, am I about to act silly with her? Now 𝙒 is thinking about himself. What if I forget it, man? Right now, 𝙒 is just overwhelmed with all these thoughts, wondering, she really is so cute. And I do enjoy teasing her. But can I really tease her? Probably not, because she looks like a cat. He keeps thinking all these things and wonders, I shouldn't be doing anything weird, maybe I'm about to act a little too strange around her. Now the scene shifts. We see that in the end, 𝙒, stumbling and all, finally reaches his home. As soon as he arrives, he says, finally, I'm home. But we see that the girl, Jiang, gets scared seeing him. 𝙒 asks, hey, what were you doing? The girl replies, no, nothing. I was just playing a game. Just then he gives her a plant. He's handing over the plant and says, here, this is for you. As soon as he gives her the plant, the girl takes it and asks, what exactly is this? What kind of plant is this? She keeps asking repeatedly. Then 𝙒 says, it's a ginger plant. You can keep it in the kitchen or somewhere it looks good. As soon as 𝙒 says this, the girl immediately stands up and says, all right, I'll take it to the kitchen and see where I can place it. And with that, she reaches the kitchen to place it. 𝙒 keeps watching her again and again. 𝙒 is completely in love. I don't know why, but yes bro he is. Whatever it is, we'll find out later. Then he asks her, are you going to play the online game again? He asks this question to the girl, but she refuses. She says, no, I'll play the game tomorrow. For now, I need to go to sleep. So 𝙒 steps outside and says, wait, you should only play once a week. Come here, I need to talk to you. And with that, he makes her sit next to him. The girl feels very awkward. She looks at him and says, "What's the matter? Tell me." As soon as she says this, 𝙒𝙬 says, "Listen, give me your hand for a second. I just want to touch it for a second." As soon as he says this, the girl reacts like, "What? No, absolutely not." She immediately refuses. I don't know why, but yeah, she does. As soon as she refuses, 𝙒𝙬 says, "Hey, wait a minute. I just want to check if your hands are cold or not. Maybe you're sick." The girl denies it, saying, "They're not cold at all, okay? Don't worry. If you don't believe me, then here, check it yourself." And then she says, "See for yourself." With that, 𝙒𝙬 checks her hand and says, "Your hands are starting to change from before, aren't they? Since you keep practicing swordsmanship, your hands are slowly changing." As 𝙒𝙬 is doing all this, the girl starts blushing a lot because he's holding her fingers very delicately. And then he says, "I just wanted to see if my hands would get ruined too if I start martial arts practice. Well, looking at your hands, they don't seem to be. They're so soft." As soon as she hears this, the girl says, "What are you doing? Listen, I have to go take a bath, okay? I'm going." She says this and then runs off so fast I can't even explain. She disappears super quickly. 𝙒𝙬 even says, "Hey, what just happened?" Anyway, 𝙒𝙬 sits outside waiting, and the girl is peacefully bathing. Meanwhile, 𝙒𝙬 keeps glancing towards her, then at himself. What can I say about 𝙒𝙬? Leave it. Then we see he comes near the internet, like to his laptop or rather PC, and starts checking stuff out. He's checking the search history, and we see the girl had searched a lot of things. Among them, I only liked one: how to make your breasts smaller. Seriously, bro? People try to make them bigger, and she wants to make them smaller. She had searched a lot of other stuff too, like how to find a girlfriend for a friend, how to become rich, and many things. You check for yourself. 𝙒𝙬 gets confused and says, "Where does she even get all these ideas from?" After some time, we see the girl is back after bathing. As soon as she arrives, 𝙒𝙬 looks at her, and the hairdryer is ready to go, like ready to dry her hair. He says, "Go ahead, I'll dry your hair." And with that, he stands up and starts drying her hair. Meanwhile, we see the girl thinking, why is 𝙒𝙬 behaving so weird today? No, he's been acting weird the whole night. Even the girl notices it. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 plugs in the hairdryer and says, "You know the search engine? People like us are the ones putting answers in it. So whatever you search, it might not be accurate. It could even be wrong information." As soon as she hears this, the girl is shocked. "What? It's not true." 𝙒𝙬 says, "Yeah, it's not true. Seriously." Now she keeps asking for confirmation cards and all. 𝙒𝙬 says, "Look, there are big scams in there too. If all that were true, wouldn't it be like a superpower? Think about it yourself. There are huge scams there, so be careful, okay? Don't trust anything blindly." The girl says, "Got it." Look at her, seriously, how awkwardly she's sitting. She looks so uncomfortable. Then the girl asks, "Why are you suddenly telling me all this?" 𝙒𝙬 says, "No specific reason. It just came to my mind, so I told you." 𝙒𝙬 is lying. He also says, "I didn't say whatever you searched was wrong, okay? You can search whatever you want. Just don't blindly trust it." And with that, it's time to sleep, but we see 𝙒𝙬 can't sleep. Because 𝙒𝙬's got love area now. Whatever it is, blah blah. Right now we see 𝙒𝙬 thinking, what am I doing? I don't even have a girlfriend. I could make her my girlfriend. I need to do something. Then 𝙒𝙬 slaps himself hard, like really hard. Seriously, when I can't study, I slap myself too. Don't know why, but it's my trick to study. Anyway, we see 𝙒𝙬 thinking, no matter what, I have to make her my girlfriend. Now the scene shifts. We see the girl brushing her teeth. Then she notices someone approaching her, who else but 𝙒𝙬. She asks, "What are you doing here?" 𝙒𝙬 says, "Do you brush your teeth every day?" He asks this, and the girl replies yes. But we see 𝙒𝙬 keeps staring at her again and again and says, "The more I look at her, the more perfect she seems. Her eyes, nose, ears, everything is perfect." Then we see him saying, "Are you free? If you're free, come meet my parents." As soon as the girl hears this, she's shocked. "Do you remember that uncle who came last month? That was my dad. He wants to meet you." He says this and adds, "He's curious to meet you since we live together, that's why." Then 𝙒𝙬 says, "You'll have to pretend to be my girlfriend." As soon as she hears this, the girl refuses and says, "Girlfriend? I heard people even sleep with their girlfriends, right?" As soon as she says this, 𝙒𝙬 gets happy and says, "Yes, yes, if you want to eat, drink, enjoy, and sleep too, then you can sleep. But the girl refuses again. Then 𝙒𝙬 says, okay, you don't have to do all that. Just pretend to be my girlfriend and just eat food, okay? As soon as he says this, the girl agrees and says, alright, I'm ready to pretend to be your girlfriend. As soon as she says that, 𝙒𝙬 gets happy and says, okay then, let's practice. The girl says, practice? But it's just about eating, right? What's there to practice? 𝙒𝙬 says, practice for eating, yes. You'll have to practice eating. You don't know my parents will easily figure out we're pretending. Actually, this is 𝙒𝙬's trap. He's trying to trick her. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 says, you can eat whatever you want. As soon as she hears this, the girl gets happy. Really? I can eat as much as I want. 𝙒𝙬 says, yes, eat as much as you like. Now the scene shifts again. It's a scene from some time later, next day, let's say. And now he's taking her on a date. We see 𝙒𝙬 asking, are you feeling cold? But the girl replies, no, these clothes are really nice and warm. I'm enjoying wearing them. 𝙒𝙬 says, okay, then if you ever go back home, take these clothes with you. Also, fill the pockets with food so you can eat them there too. As soon as she hears that, the girl becomes happy and says, I can't even save enough money to buy a computer. If I go back to my time, I'll buy a computer. 𝙒𝙬 says, no benefit. Because at that time, there won't be internet and no one will know about computers or laptops, so it's all useless. As soon as she hears that, the girl becomes sad again and starts thinking, well, whatever. I'll search how to grow a potato again after eating it. Like, we eat potatoes, right? So how do they come back again? Well, her brain works a little differently. Meanwhile, we see an auntie coming, carrying a sack of flour. Just then, 𝙒𝙬 appears and says, oh auntie, why are you carrying a sack of rice? Where's uncle? The auntie replies, uncle has high blood pressure, so I'm the one carrying it. Anyway, you must be busy, come help me. But we see 𝙒𝙬 immediately picks it up and says, no problem, I'll carry it myself. At the same time, he tries to show off in front of his girlfriend, like, look, I'm strong. But he doesn't know that this girl is actually stronger than him. 𝙒𝙬 then says, alright, well, let me introduce her, she's my girlfriend. As soon as auntie hears that, she says, what? But you told me earlier that you didn't have a girlfriend. Why are you suddenly introducing her as your girlfriend now? I'm not going to believe that. The auntie doesn't believe him at all. So 𝙒𝙬 says, her name is Jeonghee. The auntie says, oh, Jeonghee? That's a nice name. 𝙒𝙬 praises her too. The auntie goes, wow, what a beautiful name. After a while, we see 𝙒𝙬 has reached auntie's house and delivered the sack of rice. He says, I think we've met before. Auntie replies, what? I've met you before? I don't remember anything. Auntie can't recall anything. Then we see her knocking on the door saying, old Wang, open the door. Hurry up. After a bit, 𝙒𝙬 starts explaining, saying, auntie, don't you remember? Look at her. 5 or 6 years ago when I came to college, she was just a little girl with a chubby round face. Maybe you don't remember because now her face has become longer. Try to remember, you both were standing outside my house, talking. Auntie still doesn't remember and says, no idea. Oh dear, I've become an old lady. I don't remember anything at all. Forget it. 𝙒𝙬 says, okay, if you remember later, let me know. Auntie replies, yes, okay. You don't need to work so hard. Go and get some rest. 𝙒𝙬 says, alright, but call me when you make food. I'll come eat. The scene shifts, and 𝙒𝙬 is now heading outside towards the restaurant. Just then, the girl says, did I really come here 5 or 6 years ago? She's asking this question. 𝙒𝙬 replies, oh nonsense, nothing like that. I just said it so people won't think you're some random stranger. It shouldn't look like I've brought some weird person in, understand? 𝙒𝙬 explains further, if no one knows anything about you, it could cause issues for us. And anyway, I'm taking you out, maybe to hang out or eat, so someone should at least know about it. 𝙒𝙬 says all this. This is a society. If no one knows someone in the society, it's like they don't exist there, right? He explains this whole thing. I don't know why, but maybe that's how their society works. In our society, any unknown person can just walk in and no one even cares. He's saying all this because the auntie went and told 4 other aunties too. So now 𝙒𝙬's mind is coming up with some clever ideas. 𝙒𝙬 keeps walking while saying this, and the girl becomes happy, saying, okay then, I understand what you're saying. The scene shifts again. Outside the gate, there's an uncle standing, he's the security guard. 𝙒𝙬 says, hey uncle, what happened? Are you feeling cold? The uncle replies, yes, the weather is getting chilly. Then 𝙒𝙬 asks, why aren't you going to your room? The uncle says, I wanted to smoke a cigarette, you see. If I go inside it'll get all smoky. That's why I came out, to make others sick too, you know. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 grabs his hand and says, alright, anyway, this is my girlfriend. We're going out to eat. The guard uncle says, oh, that's great. Young people should go out. If you don't get a girlfriend at this age, then when will you? Then both of them start walking, but we see 𝙒𝙬 is still holding her hand. He's doing it on purpose to make sure everyone knows, yes guys, she's my girl. He holds her hand and after a while, 𝙒𝙬 even smiles and says, well, at least I got a chance to hold her hand. But then he lets go of her hand and says, look, I'm doing this just so people notice, okay? That you're my girlfriend. Hearing this, the girl looks at her hand and says, alright then, here, hold it again. Is that what it is? Then hold it again so everyone can see properly. Hold it tightly. As she gives her hand again, 𝙒𝙬 says, no, it's fine. There's no one here right now, so we don't need to hold hands. Seriously. And 𝙒𝙬 is also thinking in his mind, man, she gave me her hand, that's nice. The scene shifts again. We see 𝙒𝙬 and the girl have reached the middle of the road at a crossing. They're about to go to the restaurant when we see there's a guy standing on the opposite side. You'll find out more about him soon. 𝙒𝙬 says, this is the road that leads to the restaurant. Then he looks ahead and says, oh shit, what happened? Now we see his friend, whose name is 𝙗𝙧𝙤, standing on duty. He's working. 𝙒𝙬 says, oh man, what's my friend doing here? Oh shit, he saw me. His friend spots him and says, hey. 𝙒𝙬 responds, hello 𝙗𝙧𝙤, what are you doing here? 𝙗𝙧𝙤 runs over and says, nonsense. Where do you think you're going? What are you doing here, huh? His friend, who is a policeman, is asking him these questions. 𝙒𝙬 says, nothing, I'm just going to eat hot pot. If you want, you can come too. 𝙒𝙬 even offers him to come along. But 𝙗𝙧𝙤 says, no, I'm on duty right now. I can't come with you. Then suddenly, 𝙗𝙧𝙤 gets suspicious and says, wait a minute, isn't this your cousin? She's your high school cousin, right? Then why is she wearing that kind of dress? That's illegal. As soon as she hears that, the girl becomes sad again and starts thinking, anyway, forget it. She starts saying, are they going to arrest me or something? That's when 𝙒𝙬 steps in and says, what? Is loving someone against the law? She's my girlfriend. 𝙗𝙧𝙤 says, girlfriend? As soon as this guy finds out she's actually his girlfriend, 𝙗𝙧𝙤 is shocked. He says, then why did you introduce her as your cousin last time? Something's fishy. What's the problem? What crime did you commit? 𝙒𝙬 says, yeah, I committed a crime. Go on, arrest me, investigate me, take me to the police station. Come on, take me. He's purposely saying all this. Then we see 𝙗𝙧𝙤 saying, just do your work, okay? Or else I'll complain to your dad. At this point, 𝙒𝙬's friend is also trying to calm things down, but 𝙒𝙬 says, alright then, go ahead man. 𝙒𝙬 flips him off with his middle finger and says, I'm going to eat now. Next thing we know, 𝙒𝙬 reaches the restaurant. As he's walking toward the restaurant, the girl is checking out the surroundings. She has no idea what kind of place this is. We then see that she's sitting with 𝙒𝙬, completely unaware that they're on a date. She even asks, should I not have come out? 𝙒𝙬 replies, no, you should come out. Staying at home won't help you progress. You won't learn anything at home. You need to go out into the world, that's how you'll learn things. Then 𝙒𝙬 says, don't worry, I'm here. I'll explain things to you. This is society, stuff like this happens here all the time. Meanwhile, the girl seems confused, asking, what exactly is going on? 𝙒𝙬 explains that someone broke a rule, and that's why the police came for them. He says, but you didn't do anything, so don't worry. The police won't take you. The girl says, oh, so that's what the confusion was about. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 grabbing her hand again and saying, come on, let's order something to eat. Soon enough, a bunch of food arrives, and they both start eating comfortably. Seriously, I'm starving watching this. The girl says, thank you so much, boss. You're really kind. 𝙒𝙬 says, you don't need to thank me. Just take off your jacket and hat, or they'll end up in your food. Hearing that, the girl quickly takes off her jacket and hat. Now she's eating peacefully, and 𝙒𝙬 is even serving her food, saying, here, try this hot pot. It's really good. You should try it. By the way, tell me something, have you ever had hot pot before? The girl replies, no, I've never eaten anything like this. 𝙒𝙬 says, Oh right, I remember now. Then we see 𝙒𝙬 doing something with the meat. I don't know what exactly, but he says, I once heard about this in a poem. Here, eat more meat. The girl replies, thank you so much, young master. She starts eating a lot, saying, yummy, this is so tasty. But 𝙒𝙬 keeps staring at her the whole time. The girl notices and says, he's so sweet to me, always giving me food. 𝙒𝙬 keeps handing her all kinds of stuff, I don't even know what. Tell me in the comments, bro, if you're thinking what I'm thinking. Then the girl asks, why aren't you eating? 𝙒𝙬 replies, my stomach is already full. Because he's been staring at her so much, he's already full. 𝙒𝙬 says, here, I'll peel this for you so you can eat it quickly. We should always help each other out. Hearing that, the girl starts to realize something and says, okay, I got it. She starts making mental notes of everything. After a while, we see her stomach is totally full. Just look at her face, she's eaten so much she can't even get up. 𝙒𝙬 stands up and says, alright, we should get moving. Let's walk so the food can digest. Then he puts her hat back on her head and starts helping her walk, holding her gently, not carrying her. They step outside the restaurant, and we notice there are CCTV cameras around. I don't know why, but I'm getting a little suspicious. 𝙒𝙬 says, come on, let's take the road from here. Then they arrive at a place with a beautiful lake. 𝙒𝙬 asks, did people in your time used to walk on water? Can you do that too? The girl says no, she can't. 𝙒𝙬 says, alright then, can you skip stones on the water a few times? He starts asking her weird questions. The girl says, I don't know how someone can do that. Now she's getting confused too, doesn't understand what's going on. Then 𝙒𝙬 says, wait a second. He starts looking around and says, found it. Come with me. He grabs her hand again and starts pulling her along. They stop at a tree and 𝙒𝙬 says, can you break this tree? Tell me. The girl gets ready and charges at the tree so fast. This girl is Hulk. She punches the tree, and while it doesn't completely break into pieces, it does split in half and falls over. 𝙒𝙬 is shocked and says, this is against the law. You broke a tree. Or the police will come take you away. He grabs her and starts running. The girl says, wait, I broke a rule? I didn't know anything. 𝙒𝙬 eventually gets tired and stops, saying, what are you doing? The girl says, can you let go of my hand for a bit? He'd been holding her hand the whole time, so maybe her hand got sweaty. That's probably why she wanted to let go. 𝙒𝙬 lets go and says, come on, let's go home and play some games. The girl agrees. Scene shifts. 𝙒𝙬 is now home, looking bored because the girl is busy using the computer. Then she asks, young master, what does romance mean? As soon as she says that, 𝙒𝙬 is like, what? His ears perk up, and he moves closer to her. As he approaches, he looks into her PC to figure out why she's asking such a question. She tells him, this guy told me about it. 𝙒𝙬 presses F2 to check out what this guy has been saying. As soon as he does, he sees some chat history or something and says, hey buddy, you want to romance me? Seriously? Now he understands that this dude is trying to hit on her. 𝙒𝙬 says, okay listen, you go get dinner ready or start preparing something. I'll handle this. The girl stands up, fixes her hair, and disappears from there. Now 𝙒𝙬 grabs the mouse, muttering, you little creep, trying to flirt with my girl? And you know he definitely did something for revenge. I thought maybe he'd block him, but no, 𝙒𝙬 goes all out and reports him. He removes him completely. Then we hear a knock on the door. 𝙒𝙬 goes to check and sees, it's his uncle or actually his dad wearing glasses. Now 𝙒𝙬 was asking that you were supposed to come for the rent, so why so early? Uncle was saying, no, I had said that I wanted to meet that girlfriend of yours. Now as soon as uncle says this, he also says that anyway, I've already decided who will stay in this room and who won't. Okay, don't talk too much. Then he asks and also says, as a landlord, I'm going to help you, okay? To solve the matter. Just then we see that the girl has already come outside and says, hello uncle, hello uncle. Now as soon as she says this, uncle is like, what? This girl here? This wasn't in the script at all, nothing like this was written. Then how did it happen? Then we come to know that the scriptwriter, they just give him a burger to eat and don't even pay him. That's why the scriptwriter intentionally added this scene. Anyway, I don't know what this whole mess is. Now uncle is sometimes looking at 𝙒𝙬, sometimes at the girl. That's what's going on. Then we see he's checking everything else, where we see that it has gone from single to double. Uncle says, oh, when I first came here, last time, everything was single. Now everything is doubled. That means something is fishy. Then uncle says, Okay, this heater is working fine now. I'll call someone for the rest to fix it or whatever. Sue says, the heater is working perfectly, don't worry. And Uncle says while leaving, okay, yeah, your mom told me that you should take care of that thing she told you about, alright? And as he leaves, he says, come on, visit home someday. Saying that, he goes. Sue says, like, thank God I'm safe. Then he looks at the girl very attentively. But we see the girl standing and saying, I'm going back to cook. She says that and goes back to the kitchen and starts making food peacefully again, as if nothing had even happened. We see our Sue says, hi, I'm going crazy in love. What a great feeling, man, seriously. This is going to give me such a boost. Now with this, Sue is asking, saying, do you have any future plans? What have you thought about the future? Now he's asking the girl. The girl says, future? Well, I don't think we have a future like that. It seems like this will just continue as it is. Now as soon as she says this, Sue says, what? That future doesn't sound right. Well, just think about it yourself. Then the girl says, no, I didn't mean that at all. I can't live in such a future because I don't want to trouble you forever. I agree that you've been helping me a lot. And if you weren't there then? Now the girl becomes very sad and says, how can I ask you for more help? Because our second miss used to say, if someone helps you, you shouldn't expect more help from them. Like, a little help is fine, but how much more will you ask from someone? In fact, you should repay them. Hearing this, Sue is like, repay? Now an idea pops up in his head. He says, well look, it's not like that. We haven't gotten married or anything, so how can we help each other? You tell me. It's also possible that you came to my house and maybe it's destiny. Now as soon as he says this, the girl denies it and says, no, it's not like that. This can't be destiny. However, you're my benefactor, and I can't do anything more. As repayment, I'll do something for you. I can't keep your debt like this with me. Now as soon as the girl says this, Sue is like, what, benefactor? Hey, I'm not some donor. Now Sue is just daydreaming in his mind. Now the action starts. The girl says, I don't have any money, so I can only give you my body. Hearing this, Sue says, what? No, I didn't say anything about repaying like that, okay? You don't need to give your body. I wish I could be in this type of relationship with you. Now Sue is just cooking up fantasies in his head and also says, however, we shouldn't develop all these feelings, I don't know. Then a director interrupts and says, hey, don't develop feelings, okay? And like, this whole mess is going on. I have no idea what's even happening here. Then the girl says, no, the second miss said that we should repay debt. If I marry you, it will be even worse because then I'll become an even bigger burden on you. I absolutely don't want that for me. Now as she keeps saying this, Sue is like, what? 1 minute. That means she won't marry me? This can't be. This can't happen, not at all. Sue gets shocked and says, hey, can't you treat me as anything other than a benefactor? The girl says, no, how can that be? You are my benefactor, right? Now as soon as she says this, it feels like a huge stone falls on Sue. Bro, she got you in one shot. Meanwhile, the scene shifts. Sue is getting bored again. We see this girl is peacefully using her computer again and making money by playing games. Sue is thinking, she'll spend her whole life doing this, but still won't be able to repay me. Playing games and all, Sue thinks, I need to do something. Then he thinks, I've made her my slave or something. No man, I shouldn't do that, because how can someone make such a cute girl a slave? Now he's thinking all these things. Just then, his cat comes to him. Now as soon as the cat comes, Sue says, hey cat, go away from here. Go to her, don't sit with me. This guy is weirdly depressed. Anyway, the cat goes to the girl, and as soon as it does, the girl looks at it very lovingly, like she's going to love it a lot. Well, she should love our Sue a little too, that would be better. Anyway, with this, the episode ends. If you like the episode, do like, subscribe, and don't forget to comment so that I can read your comments and get motivated.